Chapter 1720. After Yang Wu came out and gave some instructions, he disappeared again. He did not have time to explain to these people. The truth was clear and the turbid was turbid. The only thing he needed to do was to quickly find the location of King Yama and Blood Infant. As for Xie Tian, that brat had escaped. Yang Wu did not care about him. He went to the Thunder Mountains to find Little Hay. Perhaps Little Hay had a way to solve this problem for him. When Yang Wu came and left, all the powers were dissatisfied. Was this how the Yang family treated their guests? Could it be that after Yang Wu became the #1 martial saint in the human world, he could be so arrogant? Many powers were dissatisfied, but they did not dare to suppress the Yang family. A large crow army covered the sky above the Yang family. As long as the Yang family gave the order, the terrifying crows would attack and kill them all. There were many crows that had reached the god-level realm and 1 or 2 that had reached the peak. The demonic chi they released was incomparably fierce, so no one dared to act rashly. These powers were all given the cold shoulder, so they angrily left the Yang family's territory. There were some people who were secretly plotting to deal with the Yang family, but before this idea could even rise, it died in their stomach. What kind of status did Yang Wu have? If he could not exterminate the Yang family, he would be exterminated by them. These people finally scattered like loose sand. The Marquis Group was built near the Thunder Mountains, so the area around here had become the Marquis Group's territory. Over the years, the Marquis Group had been expanding, becoming the #1 power in the area around the Thunder Mountains. Moreover, they had created a Marquis City, turning it into a commercial city. The so-called commercial city was a name given by the Marquis Group's chairman Miao Miao. He wanted to turn this place into the most profitable city. It had to be said that Miao Miao's talent in business was very strong. Relying on his identity as an alchemist, he had recruited a group of subordinate. Also relying on his relationship with the Alchemist Alliance, he had brought large amounts of pills and herbs here to trade. He was very clear on his position. He only sold things below the saint level, not selling things that were too high. Not only that, he reached an agreement with Xue Xiaofan, the most outstanding young refiner of today, to open up a channel to sell weapons here. Today, Xue Xiaofan had become the most famous weapon refiner in the world. Every weapon he made was of high quality and could be sold for a good price. At Yang Jiaqing's place, the weapons he forged were almost out of stock. There was also a Xue Xiaofan's weapon workshop in Wuhou City. There were a few weapons that he had refined, which attracted a large number of martial artists to purchase them. Pills and weapons were the hottest-selling items in any place. Wuhou City had these two as a foundation, so there was no need to worry about popularity. Moreover, he had even set up some carefree golden caves here, which attracted a large number of extravagant guests. Without a certain level of strength, there was no way to operate this kind of business. These rich guests would often have friction because they drank a few more glasses of wine, and there would even be fierce fights. Under such circumstances, they needed the support of a powerful force to intimidate these fellows. Only then could they safely make money. Miao Miao had a great background, and also had the support of Wu Hou Gang, so it was not difficult to solve this kind of problem. Other than that, the biggest bright spot in Wuhou City was related to Yang Wu. There was an old alchemy site of Yang Wu here. There was an alchemy furnace that had been struck by lightning. It was said that Yang Wu had once used this alchemy furnace. With this kind of gimmick, it attracted a large number of alchemists and martial artists to come and visit, which led to the prosperity of Wuhou City. No one doubted that this was a fake alchemy site. Just based on the fact that Miao Miao and Yang Wu both belonged to the Miao Miao Union, and Yang Wu called Miao Miao boss, it made everyone believe that this was the truth. Outside there was Miao Miao, inside there was Wu Hou Mengbingshu overseeing, so there was no need to worry. There was once someone who came to pick a fight with Wu Hou Gang, but was directly thrown out of Wu Hou Gang's territory by Mengbingshu. In the end, his soul was extracted, and he was killed by Mengbingxue. That was a peak sage who thought he was powerful, but met with such a fate which shocked the world. Wu Hou Gang was rated as a first-rate power, and only a giant power could go against them. There were also people from Kunlun who wanted to take in Wu Hou Gang, but with Miao Miao, everyone knew that Wu Hou Gang was under the protection of the Miao Miao Union, so they could only give up on the idea. When Yang Wu arrived at Wu Hou Gang, he found that the surroundings had changed a lot, and could not help but sigh, "It looks like it." Martial Marquis City was a four-sided city. There were 4 gates in the east, west, and south. It could be said that it was connected to all directions. Each gate was guarded by minor saint experts and above. There were also saint experts guarding in the dark. As long as they didn't show themselves, this place was impregnable. No one could enter it easily. The news of Yang Wu's return had already spread throughout the transcendent world, and the people of Wu Hou Gang naturally knew about it, especially Mengbingxue, who had been waiting for Yang Wu's return. When Yang Wu appeared, she did not hesitate to jump into Yang Wu's arms. She was wearing a mask, and she was a woman dressed as a man. If other people saw this scene, they would probably let their imagination run wild and sigh, "So Yang Wu likes this kind of thing." If Yang Wu heard this, he would definitely feel wronged. However, he would not let this kind of rumor spread. He casually set up a seal, isolating the surrounding space, and no one could see the situation here. All these years, Mengbingxue had missed Yang Wu so much, and if she said it out loud, not many people would know or believe it. When the two of them were in the mortal world, their hearts were already connected, and they had feelings for each other. However, because of various reasons, the two of them became further and further apart. Until Mengbingxue's master died, she was determined to be Yang Wu's substitute, and became Wu Hou. Yang Wu left the transcendent world for the immortal world, and she was the loneliest person in her heart. Now, she did not want to miss Yang Wu again, so she directly pushed Yang Wu down. "Bingxue, what are you doing? Don't talk, kiss me." The next moment, it was the embarrassing thing of using the sky as a blanket and the earth as a bed. Yang Wu could not bear to push the person in his arms away. After going to the immortal world, he had encountered many people who wanted to kill him, and it made him understand that he should cherish the person in front of him. The life of a cultivator was very long, and it was very difficult to meet a few people who understood him. Moreover, he and Mengbingxue's hearts were already connected, and it was just a matter of time. After Mengbingxue woke up, she put on women's clothes. She could not remember how long it had been since she last wore women's clothes. Sometimes she even forgot that she was a woman. At this moment, she finally tasted the taste of being a woman, and all the waiting was worth it. "Bingxue, it's been hard on you." "It's not hard. I'm already very satisfied that you love me. I won't pester you in the future, and I'll continue to be your substitute." "Silly, I'll treat you well in the future." Mengbingxue had also broken through to the Jade Moon realm, and had the strength to reach the heavens. In the transcendent world, she was a very powerful existence, and more than enough to be the leader of a gang. In addition, the Martial Marquis gang had Ren Gang and the old ancestor of the Nangong family, and it was not an exaggeration to call them a first-rate power. Moreover, the Martial Marquis Trading Company was gradually becoming one of the top trading companies in the transcendent world, and a large number of saints had become consecrators, and there was no lack of half-step transcendent realm experts. No one wanted to provoke the Martial Marquis Trading Company. Yang Wu did not go to meet the other members of the Martial Marquis Trading Company, including the two brothers Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao. The two of them had reached the peak of the Saint Realm, and were powerful martial saints in the transcendent world. As for the Miao Miao, he usually went back and forth between Martial Marquis City and Tripod City, and was extremely busy. Yang Wu went to Thunder Mountain, which was still in good condition. He immediately sensed Little Hay's location. It was at the peak of Thunder Mountain, and he did not know what it was dawdling for. Yang Wu saw the peak of Thunder Mountain, and ignored the lightning, and looked at Little Hay, who was lying on a rock, and asked, "Little Hay, why haven't you collected the Thunder Mountain yet?" Little Hay stretched and said, "It's easy to collect it, but it's a bit difficult to combine two seals. This immortal emperor is thinking about how to do it." "Do you still need to think about it? Can't you just use it as two thunder seals?" Yang Wu replied. "Of course not. This corner of Thunder Mountain is much smaller than the one I collected in the immortal world, and the lightning energy it gathers is also less. Even if I refine it into a thunder seal, it's useless to me. It's better to leave it here and wait until I think of a way to combine two thunder seals. It won't be too late to collect it then." "Then you've thought of it." "I've thought of it, and that's why I've been waiting for you." "How can I help?" "This corner of Thunder Mountain has fused with this world. This world does not allow me to collect it, and it's difficult for me to do so. Ask this world to give me a note, and I'll be able to collect it immediately." Yang Wu instantly understood what was going on. The Thunder Mountain was bound by the will of the transcendent world, and it would not be easy for Little Hay to refine it. Unlike the Thunder Mountain in the immortal world, the immortal world did not have any restrictions, so Little Hay was able to refine it. No, it should be said that Little Hay was also bound by restrictions, and it was only after he and Yu worked together to break the restrictions that it was able to refine the Thunder Mountain. The Martial Marquis Association, not far from here, is my territory. After I take the Thunder Mountain, even if I lose a place to cultivate, do you really have to refine it? Yang Wu asked. "After I take it, I'll set up a thunder gathering array, and move a few mountains to replace it. It won't be too bad." Little Hay replied. "All right, I'll have the transcendent world remove the restrictions." Yang Wu replied, and then communicated with the will of the transcendent world, and had it remove the restrictions on this place, making it easier for Little Hay to cast the technique. "Little Woozy, you're really something," Little Hay replied, and then began to draw the outline of the Tao, and began to collect the Thunder Mountain. Suddenly, the Thunder Mountain's divine lightning fell endlessly. Rumble, rumble! The terrifying power of the lightning frightened all the living beings on the mountain, and they all ran down from the Thunder Mountain. While Little Hay was refining the Thunder Mountain, Yang Wu forcefully moved a few of the larger mountains from not far away. Yang Wu did not want the whole world to know what was going on here, so he had the will of the transcendent world isolate this place. After everything was set up, he would then release this space. When Little Hay merged the two Thunder Mountains together, an incomparably terrifying amount of chaos divine lightning came crashing down. Yang Wu and Little Hay were both in the middle of this chaos divine lightning, and were receiving the baptism of this chaos divine lightning. Unexpectedly, an outsider shouted, "How dare you steal the divine lightning seal?" Chapter 1721. Divine Thunder Seal. It sounded like a very domineering name. Yang Wu had no idea what was going on. A chaotic divine thunder spear was thrusting towards him and Little Hay. Even a true god might not be able to withstand this terrifying power. "Woof, woof, you are nothing. The thunder seal is already broken. Why can't I collect it?" Little Hay roared. Its body grew bigger, and it urged the fused Thunder Mountain to collide with the chaotic divine spear. Immediately after, there was a series of explosions. Countless chaotic lightning bolts scattered everywhere. If it were not for the will of the transcendent being world isolating this space, the entire Kunlun realm would have been alarmed. The power of the chaotic divine spear was too terrifying. It sent the Thunder Mountain crashing towards Yang Wu and Little Hay. Once they were crushed, they would probably be crushed into powder. Little Hay was surrounded by immortal chi. It unleashed an extremely powerful power. It waved its front paws forward, forming a huge claw to block the Thunder Mountain. It cursed, "Woof, woof, you bastards! When my master returns, I will beat your balls out. You are the howling celestial dog that was banished to the lower realm? You broke the seal and openly violated the punishment of the heavenly court?" The voice said with a buzzing sound. I know you are like your grandpa immortal emperor. Show some respect. The divine thunder seal is broken. I will reform it. It is not your turn to touch it. Haha, the divine thunder seal is one of your master's seals. It was originally scattered in all realms. You dare to steal it? Then you will be suppressed here with it. Boundless chaotic divine thunder turned into a huge divine spear and continued thrusting down. It was going to pierce through this space. Its destructive power was terrifying. Little Black's strength had not recovered yet, and it was suppressed by the power that came from afar. Thunder Mountain was about to crush them, and it had no choice but to shout, "Little Wu, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and use your will to block his senses." Yang Wu snapped out of his daze and hurriedly communicated with the will of the transcendent world. He sealed off the area and isolated the enemy's attack. The transcendent realm was a small world of its own. It was invincible in its own territory. Any power it wanted to repel would not be able to enter unless it was a super terrifying power. The power controlling the chaotic divine thunder was repelled by it, and all the chaotic divine thunder gradually disappeared. However, there was still a voice, "TSK, TSK, Shao Celestial Dog, you can't escape. You are in the human realm, and it won't be long before I come back to find you. Take back the immortal thunder seal, and cherish the remaining time." "Who do you think you are? Zhenwu has already returned. You should get past him first." Little Hay yelled. The voice completely disappeared, leaving only Little Hay's voice echoing in the air. Yang Wu didn't come back to his senses for a long time. He kept feeling that some memories were awakening in the depths of his soul, causing his thoughts to become chaotic. "Little Yang Wu, wake up." Little Hay's voice rang out beside Yang Wu's ear. Yang Wu snapped out of his daze and asked Little Hay, "Little Hay, who am I? Are you crazy?" "Of course you are, Little Hay. But why do I feel like I'm not me?" "That's because you are crazy. Hurry up and bring those mountains over. I want to refine them and suppress them here." Yang Wu didn't continue thinking about it. First, there was the matter of Zhenwu that gave him a headache. Now that he was sure that he wasn't Zhenwu, there were other things that came to his mind. It was really annoying. The two lightning mountains merged into one, and the power of chaotic divine thunder lingered within. Yang Wu's immortal foundation surged, and the immortal peach tree also yearned for it. After Little Hay formed a small lightning seal, she tossed it to Yang Wu and said, "Catch." Yang Wu caught the lightning seal with a confused expression. "Little Hay, what are you doing? I'm giving it to you. What can I do with it?" Little Hay replied nonchalantly. "Since when did you become so generous? Have you lost your mind?" "Woof, woof, you're the one who has lost your mind. Those guys from the heavenly court of the immortal world already know where we are. You have to continue to grow stronger. Otherwise, you won't be able to resist their bounty. Little Hay, you can keep it. I don't need it in this world." Yang Wu still tossed the lightning seal back to Little Hay. Even though he yearned for the power of this immortal lightning, he still restrained himself. His rate of growth was already fast enough, so it wasn't good for him to continue growing so quickly. After that, he said in a normal voice, "Little Hay, I have something that I need your help with." He told Little Hay about the Yama King and the Blood Infant, as well as Xie situation. He hoped that Little Hay could help him find the Yama King and the Blood Infant, as well as change Xie demonic nature. After Little Hay heard everything, it said, "You can already be considered half a god in this world, yet you still can't track their movements. They definitely have some kind of treasure that can conceal them. However, you've found the right person to look for. As long as this immortal emperor smells their aura, there won't be any place for them to hide." After pausing for a moment, it said, "As for your son, you can just let him cultivate the demonic arts. As for his temperament, I'm not good at this kind of thing. If you really want to forcefully change him, you can just erase his memories and help him start over. However, it's inevitable that some of his foundations will be damaged." Perhaps erasing his memories is a good idea. If his foundations are damaged, they can be healed. Once his memories are healed, it's better to let him cultivate the demonic arts. There are many demonic immortals and they're all very powerful. I just want him to be able to distinguish right from wrong. That's even better. Bring him to the immortal world and there will be many experts there to teach him how to behave. Little Hay, I'm speaking the truth. All right. Then leave him to me. I'll protect him and teach him well. Yang Wu and Little Hay talked while bringing Little Hay to the Empress territory. He had Little Hay find the whereabouts of the King of Hell and the Blood Infant. Only by finding them would Xie Tian not be so miserably criticized. Even if he did not care about his own reputation, he did not want Xie Tian to be cursed. After all, that was his son. Little Hay was worthy of being a celestial hound. After it arrived here, it used its breath, divine ability. Even if there was a trace of aura left in this world, it would be able to capture it and find its whereabouts. Very quickly, it cried out in shock. Incredible, they actually used this kind of method to raise an innate blood infant. If this was the immortal world, it would be a living, immortal infant. They really know how to play, What do you mean? Yang Wu asked. Do you remember the place in the mountain prison where you obtained the profound essence chi? I remember. That fellow's aura is exactly the same as that place. He swallowed the innate energy of an unknown infant and condensed it into a blood infant, turning it into a new life form. Once it grows up, it will definitely become a great demon. Quickly find it. Relax, it can't run away. The King of Hell and the Blood Infant were not ordinary. They could hide the world's senses, but they could not hide Little Hay's pursuit. They had come from the Empress territory to the Lu family's territory, and the Lu family had been destroyed. Moreover, it seemed like they had been destroyed not long ago, so the news had not been spread yet. We're a step too late, Yang Wu said with a frown. Little Hay continued to investigate. The two of them broke through layers of space and moved to another place. They went to several places in a row and found that they had all become dead land. To be able to devour the bloodlines of these creatures so quickly, it's evolving too quickly, Little Hay said. Before they knew it, they had arrived at a dangerous place in the transcendent realm called the Ghost Realm. Yang Wu had come here before to search for Lei Zongjuan. This was a place occupied by the ghosts. This time, Yang Wu was not as careful as before. He did not have to worry too much and directly charged in with Little Hay. When they entered, they found that not a single ghost had appeared. His body can improve, and he's absorbing ghosts to strengthen his soul. It seems that the inheritance he obtained is extraordinary, Little Hay muttered. They increased their speed, and their divine senses covered thousands of miles. Soon, they found a large number of ghosts howling in the distance. All kinds of ghosts were being sucked into a terrifying whirlpool. None of them could escape. It's right in front. Yang Wu shouted and teleported over with Little Hay. That's right, Yama King and Blood Infant were using a powerful divine weapon to absorb a large number of ghost souls. It was a soul lamp, an ancient item with extraordinary origins. After Yang Wu appeared, he clenched his fist and slapped at the two of them. He shouted, Yama King, Blood Infant, die. Not waiting for his palm to land, King of Hell has already reacted. This guy brought along a chi that could swallow mountains and rivers, and also sent a palm towards Yang Wu. When Yama King attacked, Yang Wu instantly felt an invincible will. This was an expert who had reached the peak of the Jade Moon Realm and was even half a step towards the True God Realm. It was hard to believe that there was such a person in the Transcendent Realm. Bang! The two palms collided, and a terrifying power erupted. The world seemed to shake. Yang Wu, I didn't expect you to improve so quickly. As expected of the heavens chosen. Yama King was wearing a mask, so it was impossible to see his appearance. His body was tall and slender, and his body was covered with deathly aura. He was like the King of Hell, and he was filled with a shocking aura. The blood infant beside him was as big as a baby. It was covered with blood-red chi and looked quite terrifying. It licked its long tongue and said, "What boundless blood-red chi, I want to eat." In the next moment, countless blood souls enveloped Yang Wu. The cries of the babies disturbed Yang Wu's divine soul. If it were anyone else, their heart would break upon hearing the cries of the babies. They would definitely feel pity for the babies, which would then allow the blood souls to take advantage of the situation. This was the Tao of the blood infant. How strong was Yang Wu's willpower! He ignored the cries of these babies and shouted in a deep voice, "You have devoured so many lives and done such a heartless thing. I will not allow you to exist in this world. Today, I will eliminate all of you. Haha, come on. Let's see if you have the ability. Even if you're a god of this world, you can't do anything to us." The blood infant laughed maniacally. It then climbed onto Yama King's body and said, "Father, let him see how terrifying your Tao of death is. Remember to leave his bloodline to me. I feel that if I devour his bloodline, I can also become the heaven's chosen." Chapter 1722. The King of Hell and the Blood Infant were father and son. Who would have thought that? No one would have thought that the Blood Infant was the second incarnation of the evil child king. In order to make his son the most outstanding existence, the King of Hell had used a secret technique and used countless infant bodies to set up an ancient formation. Then, he used the first embryo mysterious essence chi to condense an first embryo body. This method was extremely evil, but it was effective. The evil child king was only an old body, while the blood infant was the new body. As long as there was an endless supply of blood energy, it could be improved. Moreover, it could fuse with many innate divine abilities and become incomparably powerful. The blood infant's strength was not inferior to Xie Tian and Yang Zixing's. It was even stronger. Compared to Yang Wu, it was still a little weaker. However, with the King of Hell around, it was not afraid. The King of Hell was indeed a man who had cultivated to the extreme. Moreover, no one knew that he had crossed realms and gone to other high-level realms to cultivate. Otherwise, he would not have such powerful strength. His strength was not inferior to the second Tao Lord. The death field enveloped Yang Wu and began to deprive Yang Wu of his vitality. Moreover, countless vengeful spirits and countless bloody hands appeared. It was like a purgatory. It was quite terrifying. The gates of hell. The King of Hell attacked again. He slapped out with both palms as if he was pushing open the gates of hell. He suppressed Yang Wu with a torrential force. Good fellow, it seems like he really obtained some of the King of Hell's inheritance. Little Hay exclaimed in Yang Wu's ear. No matter what inheritance he obtained, he will die today. Yang Wu was not afraid of the path of death. Even if the other party was stronger than him in this aspect, he also understood the path of life. He shouted and punched back. Yang Wu did not have the willpower of the transcendent realm. He only used his own strength to throw out a punch. The domineering aura was also filled with invincibility. The fist and the palm collided together like comets colliding, creating a huge commotion. In the next moment, the two of them charged into the sky and fought crazily. The ghosts in the ghost realm did not dare to act rashly. They had just been harvested, so they did not dare to run out to die. The main reason was that the King of Hell and the Blood Infant had something that could restrain the ghosts. Otherwise, the ghost experts here would not be cowards. High up in the sky, Yang Wu's aura could devour the mountains and rivers. One punch after another was like the bombardment of stars. He wanted to use his overwhelming strength to destroy King Yama. For the King of Hell to be able to reach the pinnacle of the divine level in the extraordinary realm, there was no need to mention his talent. His palms kept on slapping out, and the hellish scenes kept on changing. The terrifying scenes he created were both real and fake, making it hard for others to tell if it was really hell or not. Moreover, the deathly aura they contained was extremely domineering, and any single aura could take away a living creature's life. Yang Wu also felt that the path of death was wearing down his life force. He activated the life jade essence, and life force kept floating in his body. Not only that, but he also threw out the black and white lotus, and the path of life and death was fully activated. Yang Wu had entered the high-level divine realm, and his combat power was comparable to any peak divine realm expert. He could be said to be an invincible existence in the transcendent realm. However, the King of Hell's strength was beyond his expectations. Not only could the King of Hell block the waves of attacks, but he could also fight back. Hell's divine chain. The King of Hell used the power of the divine chain. It was like a part of Hell was suppressing Yang Wu. Yang Wu was caught off guard. No matter the terrifying power that invaded his divine court, they were all shattered by his divine soul. He raised his hands and tore the Hell in half. The power of the barbarian god's arm was unimaginably powerful. Magnetic sword finger. Yang Wu raised his finger and slashed at the center of the King of Hell's eyebrows. The Hell was broken, and the sword finger bravely moved forward. The King of Hell roared and formed a seal with his hands. A Hell demon was formed and collided with the sword. This power was still not enough. The power of the King of Hell's talent appeared. Light of Hell. This was a beam of dark light that could take away a person's life. Yang Wu sensed the threat of death and didn't dare to be careless. He quickly dodged to the side. His legs released the power of the divine chains, creating a terrifying storm that blew the wind and clouds in the sky. Oh my God, this guy is too powerful. Father, use the divine weapon. The blood infant felt Yang Wu's unstoppable power and couldn't help but feel a little scared. Without needing him to say anything, the King of Hell took out a ferocious executioner's knife and a soul-severing sword. With one knife and one sword in hand, they were like two evil dragons that appeared and devoured all living creatures. Yang Wu had to admit that the King of Hell was really powerful. His foundation was quite solid. Otherwise, how could he fight with the King of Hell? Nether Ice-Winged Blade. Soul Eye Extinguisher. Storm Divine Chain. The invisible ice blade slashed at the blood infant, the Soul Eye destroyed the King of Hell's soul, and the Storm Divine Chain sent them to Hell together. It was killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Rumble, rumble. The sound of explosions continued to ring out. This was indeed an incomparably rare and fierce battle. These two humans are so powerful. If they work together to deal with us ghosts, we will be finished. What an unexpected disaster. If this continues, we won't even have a place to stay. Where is the Ghost Lord? He should come out and uphold justice for us. Even the Ghost Lord can't compare to them. Some powerful beings of the Ghost Clan who hadn't been destroyed were secretly communicating with each other. They didn't dare to come close to such an earth-shattering battle to their deaths. This battle didn't last long. After using all of his power, Yang Wu still managed to suppress the King of Hell. The martial Tao of the God Realm was complete while the King of Hell's martial Tao was incomplete. Even if he tried his best to make up for it, it was still incomplete. No matter how strong he was not as strong as Yang Wu when he used the power of his immortal foundation. Yang Wu's fist slammed into the ground along with the King of Hell and the Blood Infant, creating a huge pit. Little Hay exclaimed, "Seal the world." Little Hay channeled the power of heaven and earth, while Yang Wu quickly communicated with the will of the God Realm. He didn't want to give the King of Hell and the Blood Infant any chance to escape. Unfortunately, they still couldn't stop the Hell Shuttle from King of Hell. The origin of this Hell Shuttle was not simple. It might be the same shuttle that traveled through the 18 levels of Hell. Whoosh! Space was torn apart and heaven and earth could no longer be fixed. Little Hay and Yang Wu quickly gave chase. With Little Hay around, they would be caught even if they ran to the ends of the earth. "We can't stay in this realm. Let's go to another realm," King of Hell decisively said. He summoned an ancient altar and inserted many godstones into it. A spatial door appeared and took the two of them away from this realm. King of Hell had obtained many ancient items. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to go to another realm. He was proud of the help of this ancient altar. When Yang Wu and Little He teleported over, they found that they had already disappeared from this realm. A teleportation formation altar. I didn't expect those two to be so lucky. Little He's eyes could see through the void, and she could vaguely see the King of Hell and the Blood Infant disappear. What's a teleportation formation altar? Yang Wu didn't understand. It's a formation altar that can be summoned at any time and place. It can be used for long-distance teleportation, but it requires more energy. The only downside is that it's hard to pinpoint the location and can be sent wrongly at any time. Little He paused for a moment before continuing. It seems that I'll have to refine a few teleportation formation altars in case I need them. They've left the God realm? Yes. There's no trace of their aura in this realm. They should have gone to another realm. We don't need to worry about them returning for the time being. However, if they break through to the true God realm in a few thousand years, it'll be very troublesome. Let's ignore them for now. Let's go see my son first. I'll leave him to you in the future. Yang Wu and Little He returned to the Yang family. When he returned to Mount Dao verification, he discovered that Xie Tian had already disappeared. Even his father, Yang Zhenan, had disappeared. How could this be? Yang Wu asked in a panicked voice. In the next moment, he communicated with the will of the God realm and began to search for Yang Zhenan and Xie Tian's whereabouts, but he couldn't find them. This was the second time something like this had happened. He had no choice but to ask Little He for help. Little He ignored him and walked around in circles. There was an indescribable expression in its eyes. After a while, it muttered, "All kinds of monsters have appeared. Is the great calamity about to arrive?" Little He, what are you talking about? Can you find my father and my son? Yang Wu asked in confusion. Little He replied, "They've already left this realm." How is that possible? Since when did it become so easy to travel between realms? Yang Wu asked in disbelief. Of course it's very difficult for the weak, but for the strong, it's not that difficult, not to mention that this is a shattered star realm. Little He replied. Then it said to Yang Wu in a serious tone, "Little Wu, the human realm is where you'll rise. If you can obtain the acknowledgement of this realm, hey, you'll be rich." Are you talking about the realm spirit? I've seen it before, Yang Wu replied. Seeing it and obtaining its acknowledgement are two different things. Perhaps you can reassemble the human realm. That might be a good idea. Do you have that kind of ability? No. Then why should I? Your reason is invincible. Yang Zhenan and Xie Tian had disappeared without a trace, so it would be strange if Yang Wu wasn't worried. However, they had already left this realm and he didn't know how to find them, so he could only pray that they were fine. The most important thing right now was to announce the massacre caused by the King of Hell and the Blood Infant to the world, calming the hatred the various powers had for the Yang family. He went to find Master God Diviner, and told him everything he had learned. The divine mathematician believed Yang Wu's words and announced it to the world in the name of the divine mathematician building. The various powers found it hard to believe after hearing this news. When Yang Wu announced the video of his battle with the King of Hell, everyone was shocked and believed Yang Wu's words. This video was recorded by Little He and it only needed a shadow recording ball to do it. Yang Wu did this just in case the world didn't believe him. He had already done what he needed to do. The next step was to find a way to increase his strength, and he couldn't waste any time. This time, his target was the Battle Tomb. Chapter 1723. The Tomb of War was a forbidden ground of the war race. Yang Taihe hadn't appeared after entering the tomb. However, he wasn't dead yet. The soul lamp he'd left in the Yang clan hadn't extinguished, so he was still alive. He hadn't appeared in the past few years because he was caught up in the Tomb of War or had entered seclusion. Gong Xilan was worried about his safety, and so was Yang Wu. Yang Wu decided to enter the Tomb of War to take a look. The Tomb of War had left behind countless heroic spirits of the war race, as well as powerful inheritances. As Yang Wu's horizons grew, he recalled the extraordinary nature of the Tomb of War. There were divine chains left behind, so it was likely a tomb of a true god or many true gods had fallen inside. Yang Wu wanted to quickly increase his strength, but it was difficult to take the normal path. If he could obtain some divine chains from the Tomb of War, it would be a good way to increase his battle prowess. According to Little Hay, Yang Wu should return to the divine world and find a place with immortal qi. If he absorbed it, Yang Wu's cultivation would soar. There weren't many places with immortal qi in the mortal world, and it was extremely difficult to find. It would be even better if he could go directly to the divine world. With the power of his immortal root, he could also quickly surpass various minor realms and reach the immortal realm. Little Hay's eyes sparkled every time she mentioned Yang Wu's immortal ascension. Yang Wu felt his hair stand on end, afraid that Little Hay would turn into a female dog and pounce on him. That scene was unimaginable. Yang Wu brought Little Hay to the Tomb of War. After entering, boundless fiendish energy filled the air, containing great killing power. Xianyuan Yujun had stayed here for several hundred years and refined the divine chains, greatly increasing her cultivation. She was now one of the top 10 characters in the world of Transcendent. That was why Yang Wu decided to enter the Tomb of War first, then take the others to the Divine Firmament battlefield or the Divine World directly. All in all, his next goal was to increase his cultivation level as fast as possible. He could not afford to waste any time. Whether it was the Forbidden Land of Gods in Luo State, the Celestial Emperors attracted by Little Hay in the Sky Thunder Mountain, or the battle between the Celestials in the Divine Firmament battlefield, all of these were enough to make him feel a strong sense of urgency. Moreover, the sudden emergence of evil forces like the King of Hell and the Blood Infant, and the disappearance of his father and son, all of these things were enough to make him feel a strong sense of urgency. Moreover, evil forces like the King of Hell and the Blood Infant had suddenly appeared, and then his father and son had disappeared. All of these things could not be neglected. Constantly becoming stronger and having the ability to deal with all kinds of forces was what he needed to do. After this round, he would look for the last 2 types of profound essence qi to complete the supreme 9 profound arts and push himself into the true god or immortal realm. The baleful aura in the battlefield couldn't hurt Yang Wu, and some of the remnant soldiers and demonic shadows couldn't hurt him either. This place is not ordinary, Little Hay concluded. Legend has it that this is the place where the ancestors of the battle tribe and the demon race fought a decisive battle. Many ancestors of the battle tribe died here, and many demon race living beings were also buried here. Yang Wu replied. In the next moment, he opened his soul eye and saw through the layers of space here, looking for Yang Taiha's location. He couldn't find Yang Taiha, but he saw countless heroic spirits continuously charging and killing. The terrifying killing aura was quite shocking. Yang Wu ignored all of this and went deeper. In the depths, the power of the divine chains intertwined. Even though there were signs of them collapsing, they had indeed existed. If he wanted to obtain these divine chains, he had to comprehend the martial path contained in these divine chains. Yang Wu's soul eye imprinted these incomplete martial paths in his mind, and he started to comprehend them. No matter how weak the power of the divine chains was, it was still very important for him to comprehend them. Soon, he sensed that this was the martial path of the Qin family's furious god Murderous Aura. The main purpose of the Qin family's furious god Murderous Aura was to strengthen one's aura and use boundless killing intent to frighten the enemy. It would make the enemy cower before the battle and then kill them. This kind of battle qi was contained in one's blood and qi, and when one reached the true god realm, it would also be integrated into the martial path divine chains. The majestic murderous aura here crushed towards him, and that terrifying aura made him feel suffocated. Yang Wu reached out his palm and directly grasped this killing intent in his hand. He muttered, "It's too faint." Immediately after, this killing intent divine chain was completely shattered. He didn't comprehend it. He continued forward, and all he encountered were faint divine chains that were about to collapse. They could deal with ordinary divine realm living beings, but they didn't affect him much. There was the Lu family's golden bell shackle, the Sun family's soldier soul battle chi. The divine chains of the 8 great battle tribes could all be seen. Unfortunately, he couldn't find any divine palaces. He suspected that the divine palaces here had completely collapsed, leaving only such faint divine chains behind. At this moment, Little Hay jumped down from his shoulder and quickly burrowed into the depths. Yang Wu chased after her without hesitation. At this moment, the power of many divine chains madly swept toward him. Yang Wu's aura flowed as he blasted out an invincible true fist. Bang! The fist broke all techniques, and all the divine chains were shattered. Just as Yang Wu was about to shatter these divine chains, a new wave of divine chains came rushing over. These divine chains of different martial paths actually merged together, and the destructive power they caused was constantly increasing. He continuously punched out and shattered all of them. At the same time, he also began to sense the changes here. He used his heart to comprehend the changes in these divine chains and the various martial paths that they contained. There were spear paths, sword paths, knife paths. There were all kinds of different paths, and the power they contained was also different. Yang Wu quickly memorized what he comprehended, but he didn't have any intention of refining them. When he broke through these divine chains and entered the depths, he saw what was different about this place. There was a huge black mountain in front of him. It was like a powerful demon that enveloped the world. Beside this huge mountain was a lake. There was a hazy mist on the surface of the lake, and he couldn't see if there were any living creatures in the lake. The strangest thing was that the lake and the huge black mountain seemed to be fighting. The power of martial paths condensed, and the power of demonic paths also appeared. The two forces collided repeatedly, causing a big commotion. The power of the divine chains was the strongest in this area, and he saw many broken divine weapons. There was even a battle spear stuck in the huge mountain, as if it was suppressing some terrifying creature. Yang Wu felt a familiar aura. It was the feeling of being connected by blood. He couldn't help but call out softly, "Little ancestor?" In the next moment, a figure stepped out of the lake. It was Yang Taihe. "Wu-er, why are you here?" Yang Taihe looked at Yang Wu with a hint of surprise. "Little ancestor hasn't come out for so long. I was a little worried, so I came in to take a look." Yang Wu replied. He found that Yang Taihe's strength had increased a lot. He had reached the 5th level of the Jade Moon Realm, and there was even the power of the divine chains lingering around him. It seemed that he had gained a lot. "How long has it been? I received the inheritance of my ancestors here, and have been comprehending martial paths. I don't even know how long it has been," Yang Taihe said with a smile. "It's good that little ancestor has gained something." "It's only been a few decades," Yang Wu replied. Then he asked, "This lake is the land of the divine palace, right?" Yang Taihe nodded and said, "This is the land of the divine palace. That huge mountain should be the heart of the demon god. The demonic chi is incomparably terrifying. Unfortunately, it can't be broken. There might be divine treasures there. You came at the right time. Let's refine the power of the divine chains and destroy the demon heart together." Just as he finished speaking, the mountain-like demon heart actually cracked open. Powerful demonic chi surged, and a powerful demonic power suppressed the demon heart. There was the sound of a dog barking. Then, the demonic power was all swallowed up by a huge vortex. The war spear that was stuck in the demon heart swept up, exuding an endless fighting will of the spear. The power of countless divine chains in the center of the lake erupted, forming an incomparably terrifying force field. The power of the ancestral divine chains has been activated. It will be difficult to comprehend and refine it now, Yang Taihe murmured. The power of the divine chains was released from his body, isolating the world and protecting Yang Wu. What's the origin of that black dog? Yang Taihe asked again. It's my follower. It seems that it took the demon treasure, Yang Wu replied. Your follower is amazing, Yang Taihe praised. Then he looked at Yang Wu up and down and asked, Wooer, what's your strength now? Why can't I see through it? He had improved very quickly over the years, but he still couldn't see the depth of Yang Wu's strength. He couldn't help but be a little surprised. When he entered the war tomb, Yang Wu was only in the Saint Plane. Haha, about the same as Little Ancestor. Yang Wu laughed and said, Little Ancestor, hurry up and refine these divine chains. They can help you break through to the true God realm in the future. After saying that, he directly grabbed at the weak points of the divine chains, and the divine chains that were filled with destructive power were pulled over. Yang Taihe's mouth was wide open. He was completely stunned. He knew very well how violent these divine chains were, but Yang Wu was able to grab them with his bare hands. His strength was about the same as his? He wouldn't believe it even if he was beaten to death. Yang Taihe wasn't a wishy-washy person. He activated the power of his bloodline and used the power of the original divine chains to pull the power of these divine chains. The two became one and began to comprehend the martial path within. Yang Wu ignored these martial paths. He called out to Little He in the distance, Little He, don't take my ancestral spear for yourself. Woof woof, who said it was your Yang clan's ancestral spear? This immortal king picked it up and its grade isn't low either. Let's see if you can take it or not. Little He barked in disdain and flew back. A spear full of killing power stabbed towards Yang Wu. Roar. A beastly roar resounded. A huge black tortoise rushed out from within. Torrential waves covered him. Yang Wu felt a sense of danger. He gathered all of his power and condensed a palm to grab the spear. Bang! He couldn't hold his hand and it was directly pierced through. Moreover, it was still stabbing towards him. So domineering! Yang Wu shouted in shock. He gathered the power of his immortal foundation and increased his strength again to grab the spear. Yang Wu was pushed back 100 meters by the spear. His palm was pierced and blood seeped out. It only stopped after dripping on the spear. Whoosh! Chapter 1724. The war spear floated, and the endless power of the god chains gathered. However, it wasn't to kill Yang Wu. Instead, a lot of power was integrated into the war spear. Then, through the power of will, it was transmitted to Yang Wu's divine court. Yang Wu vaguely saw the scene of the Yang ancestor fighting against the demon race. That earth-shattering battle power was indeed quite shocking. It was indeed a true god-level existence. Countless divine chains gathered to form the Black Tortoise Spear Dao, Black Tortoise Palm Dao, Black Tortoise Defense Dao. Many martial arts related to the Black Tortoise were finally integrated into the lake to form the Black Tortoise Dao. Before this, Yang Wu also comprehended his own Black Tortoise Dao, but compared to the Black Tortoise Dao in front of him, it paled in comparison. Moreover, he also remembered that this war tomb was definitely formed before the human realm collapsed. At that time, martial arts were incomparably perfect and could be cultivated to the true god level or even higher. Because of this war tomb was left behind. Yang Wu held the war spear and rushed towards the lake. After arriving at the center of the lake, he directly sat down and absorbed the power of the divine chains from all directions. He wanted to condense the power of the divine chains here into a complete chain. He held the Black Tortoise Divine Spear in his hand. This was the true divine weapon that the Yang ancestor relied on to become famous. Its power was limitless. After obtaining its approval, the divine chains here wouldn't harm him at all. He didn't directly refine these divine chains. Instead, he slowly absorbed the martial arts within. After comprehending these martial arts, when he entered the true god level in the future, it would naturally become his own martial arts. It was better to leave these divine chains to his little ancestor. With that in mind, Yang Wu unleashed the power of each of the divine chains in the direction of his little ancestor. They were all of the Yang clan's bloodline. Yang Taihe had also stayed here for dozens of years. He could resonate with these divine chains, so it wasn't difficult to receive them. He didn't dare to be like Yang Wu and directly enter the lake. Those divine chains would kill him. Previously, he had only dared to stay at the edge because he had refined a few divine chains. Wu is truly a proud son of heaven. Yang Taihe sighed. Just like that, Yang Wu and Yang Taihe calmly digested the power of the god chains here. Little He, on the other hand, began to wander about in this space, looking for remnants of this place. There were many god chains here, and there were also a few god palaces. He was not interested in the god chains. He was more interested in the god palaces. Those were all good items of the true god level. These items were not for its own use. Instead, they were prepared for Yang Wu. For instance, he got a piece of fire punishment immortal stone in an immortal palace, which should be a relic of a true immortal of Xing clan. Additionally, he got a piece of soldier's bead, which could contain endless military tactics and battle chi. If these items were put up for auction in the War Clan, it would probably cause a huge commotion. Even if others came here, they wouldn't be able to get these divine items. The dangers were too terrifying. Only Little He wasn't afraid of the god chains. After circling around, he found a special place in the war tomb. A terrifying soul had been born there. It shrouded and condensed a large area. It gathered the aura of heroic spirits and the aura of demons to form a special existence. The soul could still see Little He, but it didn't attack Little He. Little He didn't disturb it either. He muttered in his heart, a new soul formed from the fusion of countless souls. After 1,000,000 years, it might become a new god. Time passed in the war tomb. Unknowingly, Yang Wu had stayed in the war tomb for 3 years. Comprehending the power of the god chains wasn't an easy task. Otherwise, Yang Taihe wouldn't have stayed here for dozens of years. The fact that he could refine and comprehend the power of these god chains in 3 years was already extremely shocking. When he finished comprehending the last strand of power, the lake changed greatly. A whirlpool appeared and sucked him down. Yang Wu didn't resist. He followed the whirlpool and sank to the bottom of the lake. Soon, he saw a complete black tortoise shell. It was a divine item created by the divine palace. The black tortoise shell of the true demon god was of a very high level and was incomparably precious. Even a small piece was enough to make people go crazy, but here was a complete one. It could be said to be a priceless item. Any creature of the tortoise clan that obtained this shell could easily evolve into a black tortoise. Yang Wu's silver-patterned tortoise mount could definitely evolve if it obtained this shell. Truly a good item. Yang Wu sighed emotionally and put away the black tortoise shell. In an instant, the divine palace began to collapse. The water of the lake collapsed, and some of the lake water imprinted with the Tao of the god chains became a kind of inheritance water droplet that condensed drop by drop. Yang Wu raised his hand and put them all away. If he brought them back to the Yang clan, they would definitely be able to help the Yang clan produce more experts. These were the precious treasures of the Yang clan. Yang Taihe was still digesting the power of the god chains. He probably wouldn't be able to finish digesting them in a short amount of time. However, he didn't need to comprehend every single Tao like Yang Wu. He could refine them into his body and slowly refine them for his own use. It's time to come out. After refining so many god chains into his body, Yang Taihe's cultivation level had increased 3 times consecutively. He directly reached the 8th level of the Jade Moon Realm. In the transcendent world, he could be considered an overlord. Coupled with the power of the god chains, there were probably very few people who could defeat him. Yang Wu sensed Yang Taihe's current power and was extremely relieved. With him in charge of the Yang clan, He could be at ease in the divine firmament battlefield and the divine world. When Little Hay was summoned back, Yang Wu asked Little Hay, "What good things did you get? You should share them with us." Little Hay rolled her eyes and said, "It's not that easy to pick up ready-made things." Then he said, "There are many divine palaces here. You can continue walking around and see if you can find anything." Yang Wu was different from Yang Taihe. He had many kinds of celestial chi powers and comprehended many kinds of martial art. As the saying went, there was no harm in having more skills. Yang Wu and Yang Taihe discussed for a while. They let Yang Taihe leave first and return to the Yang clan while he continued to stay. Yang Taihe was not worried that anything would happen to Yang Wu. He agreed to leave because he also missed his mother. Yang Wu shoved the black tortoise divine spear into Yang Taihe's hands, telling him to take it back and use it as a defensive treasure. It could protect the Yang family, and even if a true divinity realm existence appeared, they wouldn't have to be afraid. Yang Taihe did not argue. After saying, "Be careful," he quickly left. Little Hay was determined to let Yang Wu continue to train. She brought him to a few divine palaces. The divine palaces here had all been thrown away, but the power of the god chains was still there. Yang Wu was not afraid of being hurt by these powers. He activated his great defensive skills and went inside. Unexpectedly, Little Hay said, "The god chains can also strengthen the body. Don't be in a hurry to block them." "How do I strengthen the body?" "It's possible that I'll be crippled," Yang Wu replied. He had the 9 lightning body tempering technique and the void tempering technique. Both could be used to strengthen the body. However, they targeted different powers. The former targeted the lightning power, while the latter targeted the void power. These two secret techniques were not suitable for using the power of the god chains to strengthen the body. Little Hay explained, "The god chains are formed from the martial arts that a martial artist comprehended when they were alive. Finally, they will form the divine palaces and be refined into the divine palaces. There was once a ruthless person who used his physical body as the divine palaces and refined countless god chains into his body. As long as he activated them, the power of the countless god chains would explode, and his power would be limitless. He also created a technique called the Hunyuan God Chain Technique. It could integrate thousands of god chains into one body and create his own supreme great Tao. After Yang Wu heard this, he felt that his horizons had been broadened. This was a peerless, ruthless person. Regardless of whether Yang Wu agreed or not, Little Hay directly imparted the Hunyuan God Chain Technique to him. "It's enough that I've been struck by lightning, burned by fire, and squeezed by the void power. Now you want me to be whipped by the god chains? Aren't you afraid that I'll be crippled?" Yang Wu protested with an unwilling expression. However, he still digested this secret technique. He cultivated this secret technique, but he did not plan to follow the ruthless person's path. He cultivated too many things, and thus destroyed his own martial arts. After comprehending this god chain technique, Yang Wu realized that this was a secret technique that could only be used to take a beating. However, it had such a grand name. He was instantly speechless. This mysterious technique was somewhat similar to a palm technique that he had inherited from the alchemy furnace. It could borrow the power of the god chains to hammer the physical body and forge the physical body to perfection. Yang Wu decided to do this. He did not want to brand the power of other people's god chains. In the future, he wanted to condense the power of his own god chains. He channeled the Hunyuan God Chain Technique and stepped into the midst of the god chains. The god chains were like fists and sabers, and they furiously attacked him. This time, he did not use any power to block them. He was hit by an unbearable amount of power. However, he had even resisted the chaotic divine lightning before. This bit of pain was nothing. After channeling the Hunyuan God Chain Technique, he felt the power of the god chains transform into a special kind of power. It seeped into every part of his body and forged his physical body to perfection. It was like forging a weapon. The more he tempered it, the more perfect it would become. During this process, Yang Wu's flesh and blood splattered everywhere. This kind of pain was not something that others could understand. Yang Wu gritted his teeth and persevered. He would occasionally refine the immortal liquid in his body to recover. Just like this, he entered these places with God chains again and again. He also had to maintain a clear mind to comprehend the martial arts of these God chains. It was not easy to multitask. After going to many places, he learned many martial arts, including the Xing clan's Punishment Flame Dao, the Sun clan's Soldier Soul Dao, and the Devil race's Demonic Dao. Some martial arts didn't necessarily need to be cultivated. Experiencing the beauty of these martial arts would greatly benefit his cultivation. This tempering lasted for another 2 years. It had been 5 years since he entered the War Tomb. When he came out of the Tomb of War, his cultivation had quietly taken a small step forward, reaching the 8th level from the 7th level. However, his battle prowess had also taken a big step forward. He wasn't even afraid of a half-step true god. Chapter 1725. After King Yama, Blood Infant, and Xie Tian disappeared, the transcendent realm regained its peace. However, this peace was only relative. The various powers were unwilling to settle down and were thinking of ways to expand their territory. Especially the Battle Clan. After the Empress Clan and the Lu Clan were exterminated by King Yama and Blood Infant, only 6 of the 8 battle clans were left. The Xing clan took this chance to take over the Lu clan's territory and spread rumors about Yang Wu and Xie Tian. On one hand, they suppressed the Yang clan's development, and on the other, they secretly increased their own strength. As for the Empress clan's territory, it was also divided between the Sun clan and the Qin clan. The Battle clan's territory was not allowed to be invaded by external powers. Yang Wu did not have time to come out before he found that someone had entered the War Tomb. Now, his perception was not small. Even if he was in the War Tomb, he would be able to sense the slightest movement. I heard that after Yang Taihe walked around the War Tomb, his strength quickly increased. Our Xing clan is not a coward. After being suppressed by the Yang clan for so many years, we can't even breathe. When I find our ancestors' inheritance, we will definitely teach the Yang clan a lesson. In the past, Yang Wu took away our Xing clan's fortune and greatly affected our clan's development. Fortunately, our ancestors' will was awakened and secretly protected our clan. There will be a day when we will completely exterminate the Yang clan. Increase our strength and reach the Overlord level. Only then can we restore our clan's prestige. The demonic aura here is very terrifying. Everyone be alert. 10 Xing clan saints entered the War Tomb. They were the most talented people in the Xing clan, and they entered the War Tomb to search for opportunities. They hoped that after 100 years, there would be 1 or 2 Overlord-level experts. When Yang Wu heard this, he slightly knit his brows and said, "Still not giving up? Then let's see if you have the ability to grasp this opportunity." In the next moment, he bound the power of a divine chain in the distance. This was the power of a divine chain from the Tao of Fire. Even if its power was about to dissipate, it still contained an extraordinary power. He sent this divine chain's power at the Xing clan members. Suddenly, a black fire god chain smashed towards the 10 of them. By the time the 10 people realized what was happening, the black divine chains had already engulfed them. They didn't even have time to scream before they were burned to ashes by the black flames. "Can't even withstand a single blow," Yang Wu said with disdain. He called out to Little He and prepared to leave the War Tomb. At the entrance, he continued to form hand seals and unleash divine chains, dividing the tomb into several layers. He murmured, "From now on, this place will be the training ground for the war race. Consider it my contribution to the war race." There were indeed many sacred items and divine items in the War Tomb, but he didn't take any of them. There were even remnants of the power of the divine chains. If one was lucky enough and had outstanding talents, they could obtain the power of the divine chains. Yang Wu had divided the war tomb in order to prevent the war tribespeople from coming in and throwing away their lives. At the very least, the martial artists below the Saint Realm would not die so easily on the first and second floor. It was only after passing through the third floor that they would truly encounter danger. After returning to the Yang clan, the first thing he did was to inform Yang Qinghu so that he could send some people to train in the war tomb in the future. Yang Qinghu listened to Yang Wu's every word. Yang Qinghu was a man of great talent and bold vision. There weren't many people in the clan that he respected. Yang Wu was one of them, and the one he respected the most, even more so than Gong Xilan. Qinghu, you are not weak and your foundation is not bad. However, you are still lacking compared to Yang Ba and Su Chu. Yang Wu and Yang Qinghu sat down to talk. Yang Qinghu was a bit frightened. Please give me some pointers, Patriarch. In fact, he didn't think much of it in his heart. He had worked so hard to cultivate and reached the 7th level of the Star Rune Realm in less than 100 years of age. Among the younger generation, he was ranked in the top 10. Yang Wu said that he was inferior to Yang Ba and Su Chu because the two of them had already entered the Jade Moon Realm. Yang Wu didn't care what Yang Qinghu meant. He separated a strand of willpower from his divine soul. It was his avatar. He muttered, "This avatar's strength is roughly equivalent to my combat strength when I entered the Star Rune Realm. Do your best to fight it." "Yes, Patriarch." Yang Qinghu lowered his head slightly. He didn't want Yang Wu to see his disdainful expression. If he could win against the avatar of an elementary saint without cheating, his name would be written upside down. All these years, Yang Qinghu's life had been smooth sailing, and his confidence had also swelled. When Yang Qinghu fought with Yang Wu's avatar, he realized that he had been overconfident. The power of Yang Wu's avatar erupted like a primordial beast, bombarding him with punch after punch, making him unable to distinguish north from south. Yang Qinghu did have some skill, otherwise he wouldn't have dared to be so impudent in front of Yang Wu. After he shouted, he erupted with all his combat strength and fought with Yang Wu's avatar. Yang Qinghu was like a fierce tiger. His talent and combat strength weren't inferior to Yang Ba and Su Chu's at the same time. But from Yang Wu's point of view, if Yang Qinghu had encountered the Yang Ba or Su Chu of that time, he would have died. Although Yang Qinghu looked fierce, he lacked the ruthlessness to go all out. He was like a pampered tiger that didn't have the ability to respond when faced with sudden danger. Yang Wu didn't make things difficult for Yang Qinghu. He promptly dispersed the power of his avatar. "Now do you understand where you're lacking?" Yang Wu asked. Yang Qinghu calmed himself down and said respectfully, "I've been arrogant." "This has nothing to do with whether you're arrogant or not," Yang Wu said. "I suggest you go out and explore. Just like when you were young, you handed over the clan's matters to the people below you. Once a tiger leaves the forest, it gradually loses its spirit. That's not good." Then, he pointed out where Yang Qinghu's cultivation was lacking. Then, he let him decide what to do next. Yang Wu went to the Apothecary Alliance. He was prepared to meet the woman who had become the leader of the Apothecary Alliance, Chao Jifei. This woman was still the same. Her noble aura was thicker and thicker. Ordinary people didn't dare look her in the eye. She was like a high and mighty empress that made people submit. Empress Chao Jifei. Who knew how many strong people wanted this woman to kneel at her feet? Among them, a strong person who had suddenly risen in power in the past 20 years was the fiercest. His name was Wang Fenglu, and he was the new leader of the Sky Severing Sect. The Sky Severing Sect had always been a sect that was both good and evil. However, this sect had a great background. It had once produced an invincible figure. Wang Fenglu inherited the Sky Severing Sect's style. He always did things based on his personal preferences and didn't care about karma. Chao Jifei was an extremely powerful woman in the transcendent world. She was also very beautiful. Wang Fengliu's name was Feng Lu, but in reality, he wasn't one at all. He had always been very cautious and kept a low profile. It wasn't until he pursued Chao Jifei that people learned about him. Chao Jifei had always kept a respectful distance from Wang Fengliu. However, this guy kept using the name of cooperating with the Apothecary Alliance to talk to Chao Jifei. Chao Jifei was really annoyed. She had no choice but to meet him and get rid of this person's thoughts. In the main hall of the Apothecary Alliance, Chao Jifei said to Wang Fengliu directly, "Why do you have to pester me? Even if you're not annoyed, I'm annoyed. If this continues, I'll have to ask someone to kill you." It had to be said that Chao Jifei's words were really domineering. Not only did she want to reject Wang Fengliu, but she also wanted to threaten him. Only she would dare to say such things to the leader of the sky-severing sect. Wang Fengliu was a handsome man with an evil aura. He looked to be in his early 20s or early 30s. His temperament was very different. He was the kind of man who could instantly kill a woman. He smiled faintly and said, "Consort Ji, why are you so heartless? I'm not married and you're not married. We're both people standing at the top of the pyramid. We're the best match. Don't tell me you want to be an old virgin? That's not very good. F***ck your old virgin. Since when am I an old virgin? I already have a man. Hurry up and scram as far as you can. Don't let me see you. The Apothecary Alliance doesn't care about the business of your sky-severing sect." Chao Jifei was really annoyed by Wang Fengliu. She directly cursed. Wang Fengliu said calmly, "What if I'm willing to give you a top-tier divine fire seed as a betrothal gift?" Fire seeds were what apothecaries desired the most. What's more, a top-tier divine fire was even rarer. Are you deaf? I already have a man. You want to make my man a cuckold? I don't have the guts and you don't have the ability, Chao Jifei said disdainfully. She then ordered, "See him out. Don't be in such a hurry. If you don't have enough divine fire, how about adding a secret realm of the apothecary?" Wang Fengliu said. Huimi was a legendary apothecary who had once been glorious for 10,000 years. He was a figure from 100,000 years ago. When he heard that he was just a child from a remote mountain village and didn't have much talent, he went everywhere to seek a master. Unfortunately, no one thought highly of him and rejected him. In the end, a low-level apothecary was moved by him and took him as a disciple. From then on, Huimi's luck changed. He broke through all the realms and became a saint apothecary at the fastest speed. Later on, he even became a divine apothecary. If not for Yang Wu's appearance, Huimi would still be the fastest person to break through realms in the past 100,000 years. This legendary apothecary's statue was worshipped by many apothecaries. His secret realm of inheritance was indeed tempting. Unfortunately, was Chao Jifei someone who lacked secret realms? Yang Wu had already given Chao Jifei permission to enter the secret realm of the Medicine God Hall. She could enter at any time to cultivate and obtain even more powerful inheritances. I'll count to 3 more breaths. If you don't get out of here, I don't mind leaving you, the leader of the sky-severing sect, here. Chao Jifei was still unmoved. Who is your man? Don't tell me it's Yang Wu from the Yang clan? Wang Fengliu asked unwillingly. Before Chao Jifei could answer, a figure quietly walked in from outside the hall. He said faintly, "You guessed right. It's me, Yang Wu." Chapter 1726. Now that Yang Wu had come to the Apothecary Alliance, who would dare to stop him? Yang Wu was also the honorary leader of the Apothecary Alliance and Xiang Dingtian's junior brother. His status was unreachable. He went directly to the main hall, and no one dared to stop him. Now, there were many legends about Yang Wu, and people only had respect for him. Chao Jifei also knew that Yang Wu had come back, but she had resisted the urge to go to the Yang Wu family. Who would have thought that after a few years, Yang Wu still hadn't come to find her. She was furious. She cursed in her heart. He didn't even come to see me when he came back. What a heartless guy. Now that he saw Yang Wu appear in time, the resentment in his heart disappeared without a trace. Wang Fenglu looked at Yang Wu, who was walking over, and narrowed his eyes. Godly apothecary Yang Wu, it's our first time meeting. You're younger than I thought. Yes, I'm younger than you, Yang Wu answered honestly. These words were too honest, weren't they? Wang Fenglu wasn't old. He wasn't more than 1,000 years old, but he had become the leader of the sky-severing sect and reached the connecting heaven realm. His talent was outstanding, but compared to Yang Wu, he was indeed old. Wang Fenglu's eyelids twitched. Godly apothecary Yang Wu, you have a family, right? I heard that you once went to the Purple Cloud Palace in anger for a woman. I admire your spirit. Consort Ji, do you mind? Yang Wu ignored Wang Fenglu and asked Chao Jifei. Chao Jifei didn't answer. She quickly ran over to him, hugged him, and kissed him on the lip. She was responding to Wang Fenglu with her actions. Wang Fenglu's heart ached. His face was swollen. He thought that he was infatuated and could use his sincerity to move Chao Jifei. Now, it seemed that he was right. Chao Jifei let go of Yang Wu and looked at Wang Fenglu. Now you believe that he's my man. You can scram now. She was really rude to Wang Fenglu. Wang Fenglu didn't take it to heart. In his eyes, only such a woman was interesting. Yang Wu, godly apothecary, is truly capable. Wang Fenglu clasped his hands at Yang Wu, then glanced at Chao Jifei before leaving the hall. This was a person who knew when to yield and when not to yield. From the beginning to the end, he didn't get angry. Even if he was unhappy, he endured it. After Wang Fenglu left, Chao Jifei covered Yang Wu's mouth again. After a while, Yang Wu pushed her away. His mouth was bleeding from her bite. She cried and scolded, "You heartless person! You came back for so long and you didn't come to see me. Do I have no place in your heart? Am I someone that you can abandon at any time?" Empress Chao cried like a little girl. She cried very sadly. Yang Wu hugged her in his arms and comforted her. "I'm sorry, it's all my fault. How could I abandon you? I just lost track of time when I was cultivating." "I don't want to hear it. It's all excuses, all excuses." "Then punish me." "Of course I'll punish you. I want you to stay with me for a month and never leave my side." You want me to break my waist? Who cares?" Chao Jifei obviously didn't lock Yang Wu up for a month. She only locked him up for 7 days before letting Yang Wu out. "Go and see Miao Miao. That guy is like a resentful wife. He often complains to me that you don't visit him," Chao Jifei said with incomparable gentleness. Then she added, "After you see him, come back to accompany me. I'm not enough." Her face was flushed red, and she was more beautiful than a flower. Yang Wugong took 2 steps and staggered, almost falling down. He muttered, "I need to refine some 6-flavor earth yellow pills for myself." "Haha, do you want me to refine some for you, husband?" The voice laughed happily. Yang Wu obviously didn't need those things. He was just saying. Yang Wu went to Ding City's marquee merchant. Miao Miao was flirting with the beautiful new waitress. Several decades had passed, and this guy had matured quite a bit. Although time couldn't leave too many traces on his body, that pair of shrewd eyes had become even more reserved. He was even playing with 2 round jade stones in his hand. He didn't look like an alchemist at all, but more like a nouveau riche. From head to toe, everything was luxurious. "Sister, let me tell you. You can't be so shy when you see customers. None of those guys are good people. They only know how to take advantage of others. None of them are like your brother, who only reads your palm and doesn't do those things," Miao Miao said righteously as he touched the waitress's hand. The waitress kept trying to reach her hand back, but he held it tightly. She was about to cry. The other people in the store didn't care. Who was the bad guy here? At this time, a handsome young man walked in, instantly attracting the attention of the waitress. She didn't know where she got the strength from, but she pulled her hand back from Meow Meow, as if she was afraid that the young man would misunderstand. Meow Meow still hadn't touched enough. He turned around and was about to scold someone, but when he saw who it was, he said happily, "Boss, I missed you so much." In the next moment, he pounced on the young man. Before he could touch the young man, he was kicked to the side by the young man. "There are so many people in the hall. I don't want to be misunderstood," Yang Wu said. Meow Meow laughed happily. "It doesn't matter if they misunderstand or not. Anyway, I'm Big Brother's man. This is something that everyone knows." The waitress's expression changed again and again. She had a discordant thought in her heart. Yang Wu naturally didn't care about the waitress's thoughts. Meow Meow put his arm around his shoulder and pulled him to the backyard for a gathering. "Boss, you left for 20 or 30 years. You didn't even come to see your brother when you came back. You're too cruel." "Didn't I come back to see you? That's why I'm happy. I'm not going home until I'm drunk. Seeing that you've built such a big business, I'll accompany you this time. I knew Boss would support me. That old ancestor of mine wants to kick me out of the Meow family. He almost doesn't recognize me as an unfilial descendant. I really don't understand what kind of brain he has. Why does he think that only alchemists are presentable and merchants aren't? I just want to tell him that a merchant can also become a big crocodile." Yang Wu and Meow Meow drank to their heart's content. Meow Meow complained about how he had struggled all these years. In the end, he even cried. Yang Wu didn't have any intention of mocking him. Instead, he felt that Meow Meow didn't have it easy these years. It wasn't easy to build such a grand business. Meow Meow cried enough and fell asleep. Meow Meow was a saint after all. How could ordinary wine make him drunk? He just wanted to get drunk, that's all. Yang Wu accompanied him for a night of madness. When he woke up the next day, he told him a few things about the God Realm. He told him to cherish what he had now. When he established himself in the God Realm, he would take him there. Meow Meow didn't envy the environment in the God Realm. He just wanted to be a businessman here. Who knew that Yang Wu would say, "Don't you want to expand your business to the God Realm?" F***ck them, of course I do. Meow Meow's fighting spirit was ignited again. Just like that, Meow Meow returned to his lively self. Yang Wu felt that this guy wasn't really dispirited, nor was he affected by Meow Meow Chi. He was just in heat. If there was a woman who could make this guy feel good, he wouldn't be in such a state. This kind of matter was really not what Yang Wu could settle for him. Yang Wu returned to the Apothecary Alliance and accompanied Chao Jifei for a few more days. Then, he went directly to the Heavenly Palace. The scale of the Heavenly Palace was once again revealed. After Nan Nan changed her name to Yang Nu, she received the title of Goddess Yang. Her cultivation talent was also very shocking. Even in the God Realm, she had an amazing divine physique. As the transcendent realm increased, her strength also rapidly increased. Moreover, the Heavenly Palace also had a portion of Yang Wu's luck, which helped her break through to the Jade Moon Realm in a short period of time. Jiang Ping, who helped her manage the Heavenly Palace, had also restrained himself. His 3 Pure Ones techniques were also extraordinary, and he was a Heaven's Pride that could compete with Yang Wu. He wasn't any weaker than Yang Ba and Su Chu. In fact, he was even stronger. The two of them, one from the inside and one from the outside, supported the Heavenly Palace. The Heavenly Palace didn't accept disciples like other powers. Instead, it only chose a few elites to cultivate. Just the two of them definitely couldn't maintain the palace's operations. A few old subordinates of the Heavenly Palace returned one after another to support their normal operations. These old subordinates were all willing to support Yang Nu as the palace master. Hao Ren's identity was there, and she was his direct disciple. Moreover, she also had a true dragon as her mount. Her strength was incomparably strong, so these people couldn't accept it even if they wanted to. Yang Wu's arrival was like a mountain crashing down on the Heavenly Palace, immediately causing everyone here to boil with excitement. The Heavenly Palace was once the #1 palace, but now it was only a power that was slowly recovering its strength. Although Yang Wu gave the Heavenly Palace the title of #1 palace under heaven, that was only in terms of grandeur. To reach that level, it still depended on the efforts of the Heavenly Palace's people. Big brother, you finally came to see me. Yang Nu came out of seclusion and looked at Yang Wu with incomparable happiness. Yang Wu gently stroked the head of the beautiful mature woman and said with a smile, "It's all Big Brother's fault. If you want to scold or beat me, do as you wish. I don't want to. I know Big Brother has a lot of things to do. 2 years ago, I went to the Yang family and didn't see Big Brother. I was so sad. Fortunately, Godmother said you would come back to see me, so I waited for you at the palace gate," Yang Nu cutely said beside Yang Wu. The people of the Heavenly Palace looked at the palace master, who was usually like a witch, standing beside Yang Wu, and found it hard to believe. Yang Wu also didn't want to be looked at like a monkey. With a flick of his sleeve, he isolated a space so that no one could see what they were doing. After the two talked for a while, Yang Nu took Yang Wu to see the current Heavenly Palace. He looked at the flourishing Heavenly Palace and was incomparably satisfied. He sighed softly, "If only Master could see this scene." Yang Nu also said with some sadness, "And I also hope Master can see this." After a pause she said, "I always feel that Master won't die so easily. Maybe he was just left behind in a space. In the future, he will definitely come back." Hearing Yang Nu's words, Yang Wu also felt that it was possible, but the chances were slim. It's time to return to the Divine Realm and settle accounts with the Divine Palace. Chapter 1727. After meeting with Yang Nu, Yang Wu went to see Jiang Ping. That fellow had left one of his doppelgangers here, while the other two had gone off somewhere to cultivate. The most peculiar thing about the 3 Pure Ones technique was that it could transform into 3 Pure Ones. The main body and the 2 clones all had the ability to cultivate, and when they fused together, their strength would increase exponentially. 1 body, 3 clones cultivating. Jiang Ping's cultivation speed was never worse than anyone else's. Tisk tsk. My good senior brother came back from the God world, and he's really different. His cultivation has risen so much. Jiang Ping couldn't help but tease Yang Wu when he saw him. Yang Wu could tell that Jiang Ping was at the peak of the Saint Realm. This was just his clone's cultivation. His true strength wasn't here. He didn't know that Jiang Ping was stuck at this cultivation level. You're not bad yourself. It's not easy to stay in the Heavenly Palace. How many female disciples have fallen into your evil hands? Yang Wu laughed. Through contact, Jiang Ping wasn't a heinous person. Most of the time, he laid his hands on women willingly. He was especially good at picking up girls. In this aspect, Yang Wu felt ashamed of his inferiority. You can't wrongly accuse me. If you don't believe me, you can ask the Palace Lord. I'm such a powerful person. How can I lay my hands on female disciples? Jiang Ping said with a red face. Yang Nu rolled her eyes at Jiang Ping. If you didn't lay your hands on her, why did so many female disciples fight over you? They almost killed you. Jiang Ping said embarrassedly, cough cough. This is because I'm too charming. You can't blame me. Shameless. Yang Nu spat out these words and turned around to leave, leaving Yang Wu and Jiang Ping alone. Yang Wu took out the medicinal wine he bought from the God world and threw a jar at Jiang Ping. Try this. Jiang Ping didn't stand on ceremony with Yang Wu. He opened the jar and drank. The surging medicinal properties filled his body, and the thick aroma of wine lingered in the air for a long time. He could no longer suppress his cultivation base, and directly entered the half-step heavenspan realm. There were even signs that he was on the verge of breaking through. F***ck, I haven't planned to break through yet. No, I can't suppress it anymore. Jiang Ping let out a strange cry. He completely let go of the power he was suppressing and madly absorbed the power from all directions. He borrowed the power of the wine to break through to the Jade Moon level. Boundless starlight power converged in his direction, causing quite a commotion. Everyone in the heavenly palace felt it. Every single one of them revealed a surprised expression at the same time. Suppressing yourself for too long may not be a good thing. Yang Wu had long known that Jiang Ping would have such a change, and a smile appeared on his face. This avatar was probably the weakest of Jiang Ping's avatars. Otherwise, he would not have stayed in the heavenly palace. At the two extremes of the transcendent realm, there were two Jiang Pings who looked in the direction of the heavenly palace. He broke through just like that? This palace lord is truly a genius amongst geniuses. Haha, all three of my bodies have broken through to the heavenly ascension realm. When my three bodies become one, who in the world will be a match for me? Jiang Ping's avatar had smoothly broken through to the heavenly ascension realm, and reached the second level of the Jade Moon realm. He had been suppressing himself a little too much in the Saint realm. Under the effects of the medicinal wine, it was not surprising that he could break through to this level. After Jiang Ping finished breaking through, Yang Wu suggested, "Are you interested in going to the God realm?" Jiang Ping raised his eyebrows. "I'm doing well here as the Vice Palace Lord. I don't want to move." "You really don't want to move?" "Of course. The Venerable Dharma Protector has given me the important task of bringing the heavenly palace back to the top. How could I let him down? There are many goddesses in the God realm. Then what are you waiting for? Take me there immediately. Don't misunderstand. I just want to take them back to the heavenly palace as disciples." Yang Wu's appearance in the heavenly palace had greatly increased the morale of the heavenly palace disciples, who didn't know of Yang Wu's status in the transcendence. Now that he had returned from the God realm, exchanged blows with the second Tao Lord, and fought with King Yenluo, he was on his way to becoming the world's number one. When Yang Wu returned to the Yang family from the heavenly palace, he received a challenge from the Palace of Immortality. The second Tao Lord challenged him to a duel in the realm beyond heaven. The second Tao Lord was known as the world's number one. Aside from the old monk who never appeared that day, almost no one could challenge him. Guardians Deng Xin and Bing Huan were old bastards. Compared to him, they were still a hair's breadth away. News of this duel spread like wildfire throughout the transcendent. For a moment, everyone was in an uproar. The Tao Lord wants to fight Yang Wu. Does that mean Yang Wu can also be called ancestor? No one was able to witness the battle between the Tao Lord and Hao Ren. Now, the battle between the Tao Lord and Yang Wu must not be missed. Lord Yang Wu has already become our transcendence god. No matter how strong the Tao Lord is, I'm afraid he can't do anything to him. The Tao Lord has been famous for tens of thousands of years. After so many years, there are only a few people worthy of him making a move. Hao Ren and Yang Wu, this master and disciple, are really powerful. Let's hurry over. We can't miss the battle of the sky beyond. In the Yang family, Shu Yujun, Wan Lanxin, and Yang Wu were together. Both of them were worried about the battle between Yang Wu and the second Tao Lord. This shameless old Taoist. He's already so old and he's still challenging the young. No wonder he's always been the second Tao Lord. Shu Yujun said unhappily. Wan Lanxin said in agreement, "What's the point of him challenging our husband? Isn't he afraid of losing his reputation? You don't need to be nervous. He's just looking for an opportunity to break through. Unfortunately, in this imperfect realm, he can't break through at all. It's futile to struggle." Yang Wu replied. Then he said, "My two wives, come with me to the divine realm. The great Tao there is complete and can help you break through faster." "Then what about Wu Shuang and Tianjiao?" Wan Lanxin asked. "Yes, they're still children. Is it appropriate to bring them to the divine realm?" Shu Yujun said. "There's nothing inappropriate about it. I already have a place to stay. I can first train in the divine firmament battlefield before taking them to the divine realm," Yang Wu said in a low voice. Now, with little He by his side, he could go anywhere freely. He had to think of his family and help them become stronger. Only then could they obtain more lifespan and be together forever. He was the head of the family. The two women could not object to his decision. Yang Wu went to tell Gong Xilan, but Gong Xilan directly rejected Yang Wu's suggestion. "Wu, great-grandmother has lived for a long time. I haven't left the Yang family much in my life. I've stayed here for my whole life and watched the Yang family recover to its current prosperity. I have not let down the ancestors of the Yang family. I don't have too many regrets. If you want to bring someone, bring Taihe. I'll continue to protect the children in the family." Gong Xilan held Yang Wu's hand and said in a gratified tone, "Great-grandmother, you're still young. You need to become stronger." Yang Wu continued to persuade her. Before he could finish, Gong Xilan interrupted him. "You don't need to persuade me. I've already made up my mind." Yang Wu fell silent and did not waste his breath. He would make plans after he dominated a region in the future. The heavens beyond was not really in the heavens beyond. It was on the snowy heavenly mountain that was as high as the sky. Yang Wu went to the appointment as scheduled. At this moment, many experts had already arrived. They had occupied a favorable position and were waiting for the battle to begin. The second Taoist brother appeared in the air and faced Yang Wu from afar. The second Taoist brother was wearing a hemp garment. He had a head of white hair, but he had a youthful face. He was one with the heavens and earth. He was like a god with an extraordinary aura. Yang Wu, on the other hand, was wearing a white robe. He was like an immortal descending to the mortal world on the vast mountain peak. His demeanor was astonishing. Monks from Tianli rushed over. An old Taoist from Kunlun arrived on an ox. The ancestor of the Purple Cloud Palace appeared. All the overlords arrived one after another to watch this unprecedented battle. These people were rarely seen. They came out of seclusion today because they wanted to see how amazing this young up-and-coming talent was. I didn't expect the little thief from back then to grow to this extent. Amazed Master, Tai Miju murmured. Her voice was very fast, but everyone could hear it. This master didn't take Yang Wu seriously at all. Amei's territory had been devoured by the Yang family all these years. Naturally, she didn't have a good impression of Yang Wu. Since ancient times, heroes come from the young. My brother Yang Wu is not bad at all. Zhu Daoist, who was riding on a flying boar, said proudly. It was as if he was afraid that others didn't know that he was friends with Yang Wu. Tongtian elder from the Xianyuan family said faintly, in just a few decades, he has walked the path that others have walked in their lifetime. It's really unacceptable. This elder had lived for more than 10,000 years. He was an expert of the same age as the second Taoist brother. He was also one of the top figures in the Xianyuan family. The other important figures were also whispering. Many people from the Yang family also came. Among them were Yang Wu's wife, Shu Yujun, Wan Lanxin, and their children, Yang Wushuang and Yang Tianjiao. They all wanted to see if Yang Wu was strong enough to be the number one person. Lu Ji, Yang Ba, and Su Chu were all there. Meng Bingxue, Chao Jifei, Yang Nu, and Jiang Ping were also there. However, they weren't in the same place. This was a battle that attracted the attention of the world. In 1,000 years, I have only challenged you and your master. Do you know why? The second Taoist brother asked Yang Wu with his hands behind his back. Yang Wu replied, You want to break through to the Nine Suns realm. You need an opponent to train you. The second Taoist brother shook his head and said, Because you have providence. You want to steal my providence? Yang Wu asked. If I defeat you, your providence will naturally be transferred to me. I will become a god in the transcendent realm. The second Taoist brother replied. After a pause, he said, If I wanted to break through to the Nine Suns realm, I would have gone to the immortal realm a long time ago. Why wait until today? Becoming a god in the transcendent realm, becoming a god in the human realm, is my goal. Make your move. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. Then come. Chapter 1728. The second Tao Lord and Yang Wu didn't waste any time talking. In an instant, there was an endless amount of light colliding in the beyond heavens. Rumble! Rumble! The earth-shattering power continued to bombard the space. Boundless power splashed out, causing the space to crumble one after another. Everyone who was watching from afar was startled by this. Such earth-shattering power right from the start. This was the battle prowess of a true invincible expert. On the battlefield, Yang Wu and the second Tao Lord seemed to have turned into stars as they continuously collided. Bull Fist, Barbarian Horse Fist, Tiger Fist, Longevity Fist, Longevity Step. Neither of them was willing to back down. Every punch absorbed the boundless power of the stars. Wave after wave of attacks collided, shaking the surroundings. Yang Wu had broken through to the 8th level of the Jade Moon realm. With his battle prowess, it wouldn't be difficult for him to fight any peak god realm expert. He could even easily crush them. Even with his domineering power, he could only fight to a draw with the second Tao Lord. Just how strong was the second Tao Lord? He was the Tao Lord who had been famous for tens of thousands of years. His abilities were close to the Tao. Even in the god realm, he was an invincible expert. He was one with the heavens and earth. Each of his longevity fists could suppress heaven and earth. Yang Wu's realm was lower than his, but he couldn't defeat Yang Wu. He was even more shocked than Yang Wu. When Yang Wu returned from the god realm, he was able to block the attack of his avatar. He felt that Yang Wu's strength was extraordinary. Perhaps he was one with the destiny of the transcendent realm. That was why he could block his attack. At this moment, he finally understood that Yang Wu was truly talented. Very good. You didn't disappoint me. If I defeat you like this, I'll gain even more destiny. The second Tao Lord finally revealed a fanatical expression. Do you have the qualifications? Yang Wu replied. Do you have the qualifications? Take this punch of mine first. Second Tao Bro replied, and the power of his longevity fist suddenly changed. The Tao of longevity. A long fist struck out. It was as if it extended endlessly, shattering the horizon. Waves of multicolored light flickered in all directions. This punch came too fast, and Yang Wu couldn't dodge it and was hit hard. He released the black tortoise armor, but it couldn't withstand the power of this attack. It immediately shattered, and his body flew backward. Without waiting for Yang Wu to adjust, the dense fist aura field wrapped around him. Tens of thousands of fists released a terrifying power that wanted to blow Yang Wu up on the spot. Come at me more ferociously. Yang Wu once again activated the black tortoise battle armor, and the power of the 8 trigrams covered his body, madly deflecting the bombardment of these fist lights. Every punch here could shatter an ordinary star, but it could not shatter Yang Wu's armor. His Tao of black tortoise had been completely completed. It was a complete Tao, no longer the incomplete Tao from before. The power it could unleash was also different. The second Tao Lord's power was deflected, but he wasn't upset at all. The battle intent on his face grew thicker. He put his fists together, and the Tao of longevity merged into one fist. He shouted, "Longevity Heaven!" Suddenly, the world seemed to be torn apart by his fist. The terrifying power of the fist, accompanied by the turbulence of space, smashed heavily on Yang Wu's black tortoise battle armor. The second Tao Lord's longevity fist was also close to perfection. Yang Wu couldn't just focus on defense. This was not his style. The blue light on his body flashed, and the spirit of "Who can but me" filled the world. It was as if Zhenwu had descended, and the sun and moon were reversing, returning the favor to the second Tao Lord. Boom! 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 The two of them used all of their skills and attacked repeatedly. The world was torn apart, and it was like a natural disaster. It was suffocating. After a series of clashes, the invincible second Tao Lord's fists were bleeding, but Yang Wu was still unscathed. The old Undyings who could clearly see the battle were shocked. The second Tao Lord had lost in a clash of fists and palms? The second Tao Lord had cultivated for countless years, and he had been tempering his body all this time. His invincible body had been broken. Energy erupted from his body like a star exploding. A blinding light flashed across the horizon. This was his innate skill, 1 inch of time, a terrifying innate skill that could freeze time. Yang Wu fell into a state of stillness. He was attacked by the second Tao Lord's frenzied attacks, and he was blasted down from the sky. The second Tao Lord's full power was indeed monstrous. Yang Wu's black tortoise armor was broken, but he still had the Imperial Jade armor on him. It blocked the second Tao Lord's powerful attack. When Yang Wu counterattacked again, he used an invincible lost technique from the divine world. His immortal moon mirror technique imitated the attacks of many experts from the divine world. After he used it, the heaven and earth changed, and a series of continuous explosions resounded. The second Tao Lord was sent flying again. Before Yang Wu could give chase, the second Tao Lord released 2 other innate skills. Tao Seal. Soul-slaying blade. A seal branded with the great Tao came crashing down from the sky. This was a Tao seal that contained divine chains and interwoven with the power of a half-step true god. The second Tao Lord had fused his own Tao into his innate skill to create an invincible attack. With this attack, he already possessed the combat strength to contend against ordinary true gods. The soul-slaying blade was just as frightening. It shot out of the soul and rushed into Yang Wu's divine court, intending to sever Yang Wu's soul. Who could resist a 2-pronged attack like this? You're close to the Tao. If you reach the God world and complete your grand Tao, you'll be able to break through to the true God realm. Furthermore, you won't have any problems breaking through again. Why are you still lingering in this broken mortal world? You shouldn't be. Yang Wu muttered. Suddenly, the power of divine chains erupted from his body, forming a field of chains that intersected with the Tao seal. This was a secret art he'd learned from the murky origin god chain art in the Tomb of War. The chains hadn't completely merged with his flesh, but he'd kept a portion of them, ready to erupt at any time. Devil soul chains. In the swamp of his divine court, they formed a chain that collided with the soul-slaying blade. The 2 of them fought fiercely. No matter which secret art it was, they were all rare in the world and comparable to true gods. The second Tao Lord's Tao was still lacking. No matter how much he tempered himself, it wasn't enough in this world. After Yang Wu unleashed the power of the divine chains, he was suppressed and his Tao seal shattered. Those old bastards who were watching all felt their blood boil. I won't lose, the second Tao Lord roared. A divine weapon finally flew out. It was a longevity tower with a total of 9 floors. Each floor shone with sparkling light, and each beam of light formed a sharp blade that pressed down on Yang Wu. This was the Longevity Hall's guardian tower, a true divine weapon. The Longevity Hall naturally had its reasons for being able to stand until now. Just as the Longevity Hall was about to suppress Yang Wu threw out a black wok. Clang! Clang! The 2 true divine weapons collided, creating a peerless sound that shook the ears of the saints in the distance. Even the god-tier creatures were on the verge of collapse, feeling extremely uncomfortable. The Longevity Hall and the Black Wok flew away from each other and quickly collided again. Yang Wu ignored the Black Wok and said faintly to the second Tao Lord, "Even if you've stepped into the half-step true God realm, you can't complete your Tao in this flawed place. It's not enough to kill me. In the end, this is just a broken land." Seeing that the second Tao Lord was about to be defeated by Yang Wu, the old bastards finally couldn't help but attack. These old bones of mine also want to move around a bit. Young man, help me. One of the old bastards from Kunlun said faintly. He jumped down from the back of the ox and slapped out a shocking palm. It was as if the sky was collapsing, and its power was boundless. Kunlun Palm. Count me in. Amazed Abbess Miju held the heavenly sword and slashed out a shocking sword shadow. The overlord of the Xianyuan tribe also joined the battle with a force that could swallow mountains and rivers. He said faintly, "It's not that easy to be invincible in this world." The purple firmament ancestor also attacked without hesitation. He brought a sea of lightning and suppressed Yang Wu. There were also a few other overlord-level experts who made their move. They didn't want to fight Yang Wu, but purely wanted to know where Yang Wu's limit was. In the end, even the old monk from Tian Li waved the heavenly bowl in his hand. He put his palms together and said, "Amitba, this old monk also dares to ask where the heavenly Tao is." It was originally a one-on-one battle, but it turned into a group battle. The second Tao Lord roared unwillingly, "Get out of my way, this is my battle with him." His silver hair fluttered in the wind, and his aura swallowed heaven and earth. Strands of Tao power merged into a cauldron and attacked Yang Wu again. The heavenly Tao seal. This was a Tao seal formed by fusing everything he had learned in his life. Its power was many times stronger than when it was first released. It also contained the power of his Tao physique. He was born with a Tao physique, which was why he could advance triumphantly on the path of cultivation. If he had gone to the God realm early on, his achievements would definitely not be limited to this. Unfortunately, he was determined to obtain the recognition of the transcendental realm and the human realm to become the god of this world. Unfortunately, he always felt that he was just a little bit away. He didn't expect that in the end, Yang Wu would seize his destiny. Back then, Haoren also had destiny. If he defeated Haoren, his second Tao Lord's destiny would definitely rise to another level. Unfortunately, he didn't succeed. This time, his real body came out of seclusion to fight Yang Wu. He only wanted to prove to the transcendental realm that he was the one with the best destiny. "I'll make you accept your defeat wholeheartedly," Yang Wu faintly said. The image of an immortal spirit appeared behind him, and his battle prowess soared. He didn't use the power of his immortal foundation before, but now he did. A large area was enveloped by his aura. The immortal spirit attacked the second Tao Lord, while several other clones attacked the others. Many Yang Wus appeared above the sky beyond heaven, and they were all fighting against the invincible overlords here. There were waves, divine flames, lightning. Everything he had learned and cultivated in his entire life completely erupted at this moment. That invincible aura was something that no one could compare to. The second Tao Lord's Tao seal was shattered by the immortal spirit. Kunlun's old monster spat out blood from Yang Wu's punch. Miju Shirtai was sent flying by Yang Wu's slap. Xuanyuan's old monster was kicked away by Yang Wu. Chapter 1729. Boundless starlight fell, and the power of the Emperor's star seemed to have gathered here. Yang Wu's body kept on expanding like a peerless god. Every punch and kick contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. It was extremely domineering. The power of his immortal foundation was fully unleashed. This was his true combat power. It was not at the true God realm, but it surpassed the true God realm. The Black Tortoise Tao, the Tao of true martial Tao, the Tao of life and death. All kinds of martial Tao were performed by him. This world became his training ground. The surrounding overlords were all sent flying by him. Even the divine weapons were not in his eyes. Weapons that were not at the true God level should not be taken out to embarrass themselves in front of him. The longevity tower was blocked by the black pot. Although the heavenly sword was extremely sharp, the dragon phoenix sword could also block it. As for the Kunlun sword, Xianyuan wheel, and other divine weapons, their power was not inferior to the longevity tower. However, Yang Wu also had the true God Yuyan spear. With the spear in hand, after pouring power into it, almost all the seals on the spear were activated. It exploded with the might of a true god, sending the Kunlun sword, Xianyuan wheel, and other divine weapons flying. Yang Wu roared, "Use your full strength." Next, he swept the true god Yu Yen's spear. A huge spear shadow swept across heaven and earth. The overlords were sent flying while vomiting blood. Dao number 2 was still unwilling to be defeated. He raised his hands and activated a supreme secret technique. His battle prowess was still rising. His body also grew bigger like a god of this world. He shouted, "Take this blade that I've condensed for 10,000 years. Victory or defeat will be decided by this move. Kill." The heavenly Tao was like a blade that punished all things. The huge blade light crushed down, breaking through layers of space and shattering heaven and earth. The overlords quickly retreated. They did not want to be caught in this blade. This blade was close to the Tao and had a hint of transcendence. Yang Wu looked at this blade with admiration. He smiled and said, "Now this is interesting." In the next moment, he held the Yu Yen True God Spear and activated the Immortal Spirit's shadow. The power of the Immortal Foundation erupted and the True God Spear fell down like a heavenly pillar. It smashed tens of thousands of miles away and heavily collided with the saber. This spear contained the power of the divine chains, and it was undoubtedly close to the power of a true divinity's comprehension. It had also fused the way of the black tortoise into it. It could be said to be a spear without a spear. Rumble, rumble. The two attacks collided, and the power of the divine chains continued to collapse, forming an incomparably terrifying energy storm that swept out in all directions. The surrounding people retreated again and again, afraid that they would be affected by the shockwave. Invincible, this is true invincibility. I didn't expect Yang Wu to be so powerful that he forced the Tao ancestor to use all his martial arts. I wonder if he can suppress him. Yang Wu must have borrowed the power of the will of heaven and earth. Otherwise, how could he defeat so many invincible overlords? I didn't sense him doing that. That should be because his combat strength is too strong. As expected of the mortal world's first martial sage. Now there should be no problem for him to be called the first martial god. Everyone was in an uproar. The crisscrossing power continued. After a while, the divine spear pressed down forcefully, sending the second Tao ancestor flying. Poof! The invincible Tao ancestor, who had been suppressing for thousands of years, was defeated for the first time. The scene was silent. Yang Wu was ridiculously powerful. He stood tall above the clouds, with his head in the sky and his feet on the ground. He was like a deity looking down on the earth. No one could challenge his dignity. Father is so powerful. Yang Wushuang's eyes shone, filled with deep admiration. Yeah, I've always heard from Mother how powerful Father is. Only now do I know that our Father is the number one in the world, Yang Tianjiao said excitedly. Their mothers, who were standing beside them, looked extremely proud. They couldn't wait to announce to the world that this was their man. Yang Wu shrank his divine body, but his body was still covered in immortal qi. His battle intent wasn't low at all. His gaze swept across Kuan-Hua, Amei, Xian Yuan, and the other overlords like lightning, forcing them to take a step back. Ba, benefactor, is unparalleled. This old monk is ashamed of his inferiority. Old monk Tianli put his palms together and bowed to Yang Wu. He took back the heaven bowl and stepped into the void to leave. Amei's Shirtai Miju also wanted to take the chance to escape, but Yang Wu reached out and grabbed her body, then slapped her. Slap! Shirtai Miju's face cracked and she fell down, crashing into the mountains. It was a tragic sight. You were the one with the strongest killing intent just now. Don't think I can't sense it. Yang Wu said coldly. He continued, give up the mortal world of your Chuan realm. Otherwise, I don't mind making a trip to Amei to calculate all the things you've done to my Yang family over the years. Do you really want to bully us like this? Shirtai Miju didn't die, only half of her face collapsed. She was very dissatisfied. You can think of it that way. Yang Wu stared at her, his aura crushing down, not giving her any room to breathe. Shirtai Miju wanted to reply, but her words were stuck in her throat. She didn't dare to spit out half a sentence, afraid that if she really provoked Yang Wu, he would kill her on the spot. "Didn't you hear me?" Yang Wu shouted and slapped Shirtai Miju again. Bang! Shirtai Miju was slapped into the ground once again. When she got up, her body was about to collapse. "Ah! You dare to humiliate me like this? I'll fight it out with you." Shirtai Miju's temper was extremely irritable. She raised her heavenly sword and wanted to kill Yang Wu. Before she could do anything, Yang Wu had already appeared in front of her and grabbed her neck. A terrifying aura of death began to rob her of her life force. She was so scared that her face turned pale. If she dared to move again, Yang Wu would definitely send her to paradise. Yang Wu still didn't kill her. He threw her far away and didn't look at her again. If she didn't do as she was told, he wouldn't mind going to Amei. The other overlords didn't dare to stay and left one after another. The onlookers exclaimed, "So powerful." Following that, many people took the opportunity to leave. A few forces stayed behind to build a relationship with Yang Wu. They were the forces of the 5 heroes of the roaming sword, such as the Tang family and the Xiaoyao sect. They were glad that their disciples had a life and death relationship with Yang Wu. Now that the 5 heroes of the roaming sword had become sages, they were all powerful existences in their own forces. The fact that they could grow so quickly was definitely related to Yang Wu. Yang Wu didn't mind saying a few words to these people, as he was giving face to his brother. After this battle, Yang Wu's position as the #1 person in the transcendent world was established. No one dared to question him. The Yang family also became a giant force in one fell swoop, becoming the #1 battle clan. Even the Xianyuan family had to give them some face. After Yang Wu brought his wife and children back to the Yang family, he didn't immediately leave with them. Instead, he continued to stay and left many inheritances in the Yang family. He also refined a batch of saint pills and divine pills as the inheritance of the Yang family, helping the Yang family to improve in all aspects. Before this, he had already imprinted the martial intent inheritances in the Yang family's cultivation grounds. He also added some new inheritances in, so that the Yang family would be able to produce many talents in the future. This wasn't enough. Yang Wu hoped that the Yang family could continue to prosper, so he summoned Little He. He wanted to set up a void array in the Yang family, so that when the Yang family reached a certain level of strength, they could directly go to the God realm. "This is a big project. Call Lu Ji over. I will teach him Array Dao, and let him be a Dao protector in the future," Little He said. Yang Wu knew that Little He wanted to nurture Lu Ji, so he immediately called Lu Ji over. Lu Ji's talent in Array Dao was unparalleled, not inferior to his alchemy Dao. With Little He's guidance, his improvement would naturally be very fast. The most important thing now was to nurture a few overlords to oversee the Yang family. His great-grandmother would definitely want to improve, and Yu Chang would also need to improve his strength. Otherwise, after he took Yang Taihe, Yang Ba, Su Chu and the others away, there would be no one to oversee it. There was also an unexpected person who had the qualifications to oversee the Yang family, and that was his grandfather Yang Jingtao. Yang Jingtao and Yang Zhenan cultivated the battle blood immortal art, and had silently reached the peak of the Saint Realm. Not many people knew about his rapid improvement. In the Yang family, he was the old urchin. Other than taking care of the younger generation, he guarded the Yang family's important grounds as a guardian elder. Not many people knew that he had become so strong. People who cultivated immortal arts would not be too bad when it came to increasing their strength. And he was not even 200 years old. In the cultivation world, he was still very young. This time, Yang Wu would naturally help his grandfather break through to the Jade Moon Realm, adding another stabilizing force to the Yang family. He would also leave behind some divine weapons to increase the Yang family's wealth. After others went to the God Realm, it would be very difficult for them to return to the Transcendent Realm. He had only been gone for a short 20 to 30 years, and he had already returned. This was not something that others could do. If he could replenish the Yang family's wealth, the Yang family would only be more powerful. As for his disciples Dan Zi, Ai Sha and Xue Xiaofan, he had also made arrangements. Dan Zi had already been taken to the Apothecary Alliance to help Chao Jifei. She was also a three-tribulation saint apothecary, and was still some distance away from becoming a god-level apothecary. Unfortunately, she was from the Dan family and could not do much for the Yang family. However, with her relationship with Chao Jifei, the Yang family would not lack pills. Yang Wu really wanted to nurture an outstanding apothecary in the family. Unfortunately, he did not have the patience. Perhaps he could make a trip to the End World and find his youngest disciple. Now, Ai Sha and Xue Xiaofan's relationship was very strange. In the past, Xue Xiaofan secretly liked Ai Sha, but Ai Sha did not like him. Now Ai Sha liked Xue Xiaofan, but Xue Xiaofan did not have such thoughts. Ai Sha was still wandering around. She had a wild temperament, and her strength had also reached the middle stage saint realm. In the years when her master was not around, she had also worked hard to improve. Unfortunately, she was limited by her talent, and her improvement was not outstanding. Xue Xiaofan, on the other hand, was wholeheartedly pursuing the Tao of refining. His strength had surpassed his predecessors, and he had already reached the high stage saint realm. He was a top-notch saint artifact master, and had an extraordinary position in the transcendent realm. Yang Wu called Ai Sha, Xue Xiaofan, and Yang Yuan over to decide their future path. Chapter 1730. Ai Sha had the nickname Scorpion Beauty in the Jianghu. It could be seen that her temperament was not gentle at all. On the contrary, she was quite ruthless. Others should never offend her. Once she was offended, she would use any means necessary to exact revenge. There was once a saint who took liberties with her. He came from a great power and didn't put her in his eyes, because he was stronger than her. In the end, that saint was chased by her for half a year. In the end, his legs were chopped off and he was almost slaughtered. He was forced to beg for mercy from the great power. Only then did that guy have a chance to live. When Ai Sha was wandering around, she also obtained a few personal fortunes. There were a few times when she almost died in dangerous situations. Fortunately, she had the life-saving means bestowed by Yang Wu. Otherwise, she would have died long ago. Xue Xiaofan had always been walking his own path of weapon refinement. His talent in this area was indeed outstanding. Moreover, his temperament was incomparably tenacious. He knew that only by enduring hardships could he become a person above others. At present, he had already created 3 saint weapons that could be listed in the top 100 saint weapons. They were the sword weapon Nian Fu, the spear weapon Wu Ho, and the scorpion dagger. The Nian Fu sword was the first divine weapon that Xue Xiaofan created a phenomenon. At that time, it caused quite a stir in the Yang family city. Someone directly threw out God's stones and offered a high price, but he wasn't willing to sell it. This was a divine weapon he created in memory of his foster father. It had great significance and was also his personal weapon. The second Wu Ho spear was naturally created for Yang Wu. It was originally meant to be given to his master. However, his master probably didn't care for it, so he sent it to Wu Ho Bang as their sect-protecting saint weapon. As for the scorpion dagger, it was given to Ai Sha for her personal use. It was also a saint weapon that was created with great care. Until now, it was still kept by Ai Sha. Unless it was a critical moment, she would never use it easily. Once she used it, there would be bloodshed. Yang Yuan was known as the evil dragon. He often went out with an evil dragon. Many people bullied him because he was young, and no one knew that he was Yang Wu's disciple. In the end, they were all beaten back by him. This fella not only had fists, he also had brains. His strategies were extremely formidable, already recruiting a group of little brothers for himself, known as the Evil Dragon Army. They already had a bit of reputation in the war race realm. It could be said that Yang Wu's 3 disciples each had their own merits, and they did not embarrass him as their master. Of course, it was still too difficult for them to reach Yang Wu's level. When they saw Yang Wu, they all knelt down respectfully and greeted him. "Greetings, master." "Get up," Yang Wu said calmly. Then, he looked at Ai Sha and smiled faintly. "Ai Sha, I heard that you've made a name for yourself, Scorpion Beauty. Not bad." Ai Sha felt a bit helpless as she hurriedly explained, It's all because of those people's nonsense. I'm not that kind of person." "Don't be nervous, I don't mean to blame you. A kind horse will be ridden by others, and a kind person will be bullied by others. You being able to make a name for yourself is also your ability. Master is not worried that you'll be bullied by others," Yang Wu said. Ai Sha let out a heavy sigh of relief. She was really afraid that her master would blame her. Yang Wu looked at Xue Xiaofan and said, "Master has seen your Wuho spear. The quality is very good and you've put in a lot of effort in making it. Master will accept your kind intentions." "Many thanks, Master." Xue Xiaofan was much more steady than Ai Sha. "Master will be spending most of his time in the God realm. He won't be back for a while. What are your plans?" Yang Wu asked. After the 3 of them were silent for a while, Xue Xiaofan spoke first. "As long as disciple doesn't become a divine weapon master, I won't have the face to follow master to the God realm." His attitude was very clear. He would continue to stay in the transcendent realm to temper himself. Ai Sha looked at Xue Xiaofan and hesitated before saying, "I also want to stay with Junior." Yang Wu saw her feelings toward Xue Xiaofan, but he did not plan on getting involved in their private matters. What happened to them would be up to them. "Alright, it's fine as long as you make your own decisions. Otherwise, you'll say that Master doesn't take care of you in the future." Yang Wu did not force them. He wanted to bring these 2 disciples to the God realm to develop themselves so that they could increase their cultivation faster. However, they had their own ideas, so he did not force them. It was not necessarily a bad thing for them to temper themselves here. Moreover, when they reached the God realm, he would not have so much time to take care of them. "Yang Yuan, what about you?" Yang Wu's gaze fell on Yang Yuan. Yang Yuan was not handsome. In fact, he could be said to be a little strange. He was very similar to his father in this aspect. He also had an evil aura around him. He did not seem like a righteous person, but his way of doing things was more righteous than anyone else. Evil dragons were not evil to good people at all. "Master, I want to go to the God realm." Yang Yuan did not hesitate to express his thoughts. "Why do you want to go?" Yang Wu asked. "I want to be like Master. I want to become stronger and stronger." "Then why are you pursuing the pinnacle of martial arts?" This question stumped Yang Yuan. After a while, he replied, "Only with great power can one be a true king. Only then can one have the right to speak and be respected by others." "Just for that?" "Yes, it should be." This was definitely their first time. And in Yang Wu's memories, it was from when they were born all the way until now. He felt very guilty in his heart. With his current position, it was rare for him to do such a warm action. Other people would not believe it, but no matter what level he was at, his children were naturally the closest. He did not want to be separated from them. At the same time, thinking of Xietian, his heart felt even worse. After a while, Yang Wu let them go and said with a smile, "Daughter, son, father is wrong. I've let you down." "Father, are you all right? Why are you saying this?" His daughter Yang Wu Shuang asked in a nervous voice. Ha, what could happen to father? Since you were born, father has not been by your side. Father's heart is filled with guilt, so I won't have much time to teach you in the future. Isn't this because I'm afraid you won't recognize me as your father?" Yang Wu replied with a smile. "Father is so powerful, How could we not recognize you? His son Yang Tianjiao said in a low voice. Even if he was a saint, his personality was still shy compared to his carefree elder sister. Yang Wu patted his shoulder and said, Tianjiao, a man should raise his voice. Not to mention I am your father, so you don't need to be afraid of me. Father just wants to have a good chat with you today. If there is anything you want to say, then tell Father. If there is anything you want to do or can't do, then tell Father. If Father can do it, then he will do it for you. Can we really talk about anything? Yang Wu Shuang asked from the side. Of course. Yang Wu said in a certain voice. Good. Then Father, can you bring me to the God realm to take a look? I heard that the God realm is filled with God spirits, and they are all very strong. Yang Wu Shuang said with desire. It's not difficult for you to go to the God realm. The difficult part is that Father might not have the ability to protect you after you get there. Are you afraid? Father can't protect us in the God realm? It is indeed a strong world. I want to see it even more. You will die. Aren't you afraid? Why should I be afraid? I heard from my mother that my father's strength today was all because he fought his way through dangerous situations. I also want to be like my father and fight my way through the path of absolute strength that belongs to me, Yang Wushuang. Ha, as expected of my good daughter, so domineering. Then Father will bring you to the God realm. Let us father and daughter work together and kill our way to the God realm. Yes. Father and daughter working together is unparalleled in the world. You little elf. Tianjiao, what about you? What do you think? I want to become as strong as Father. Chapter 1731. Little He and Lu Ji finished setting up the void formation in the Yang family's territory. Now they were just waiting for Yang Wu to give the order, and they could leave this place at any time. This void formation was connected to the divine firmament battlefield, not the divine world. Directly crossing to the divine world required too many materials, and it was also very far away. They did not have the exact coordinates, so they could not directly teleport there. Yang Wu had already taken care of most of the things that needed to be taken care of. However, he did not plan to leave just like that. He still wanted to explore some dangerous places in the transcendent world to replenish some energy for the immortal peach tree and immortal root. They thirsted for all kinds of rare powers so that they could continue to grow stronger. In the transcendent world, there were a few places where special powers could exist. They were the depths of the Kunlun mountain range, which was extremely dangerous. However, peak god-level beings had appeared there before, and it was suspected that there were relics of immortals there. However, it was very difficult to find them. There was also the legendary Shenangjia, which was filled with natural treasures. It was the place with the densest spirit chi of heaven and earth. It might also contain some origin energy. In the depths of the East Sea, there was a floating island, which was rumored to be the palace of immortals. Yang Wu planned to spend some time in these places to see if he could gather some more power to help his immortal root grow stronger. Then, he would be more confident when he returned to the divine world. He brought Little He with him, and used the transcendent world's will to instantly arrive at the Kunlun mountain range. The desolate chi here was extremely dense, and it retained the most primitive aura. Even overlord-level beings did not dare to enter this vast forest. There were many extinct races that still lived here. They were extremely powerful and lived in group. If one encountered them, one would not even know how to write the word death. Yang Wu was the god of this world, and he was very confident. No matter where he went, he would not be afraid. This time, if not for Little He's reminder to him to gather some special powers in the transcendent world, he would not have thought of coming to this place. After landing in this world, he felt as if this world was sealed by some kind of power, and his senses became much weaker. There is indeed something strange about this place, Yang Wu muttered. Little He's eyes glowed as she said, This heaven and earth has been imprinted with the power of a powerful being. There is a sealing power here. Can you break it? Yang Wu asked. We'll know after we give it a try, Little Hay replied before flying off in a certain direction. Yang Wu followed closely behind. Soon, they landed in a forest. There were many demon clan creatures in the vicinity. Their domineering auras were enough to strike fear into anyone. The human race is not a place you can come to. Hurry up and leave. An old Yao noticed Little Hay and Yang Wu and said faintly. This was a rarely seen Baifang. It looked like a bird, its crest was like fire, and its feathers were green like jade. It only had one leg, and it raised its proud head to look at Yang Wu and Little Hay. Baifang? It's a pity that it's a little old. Otherwise, it would be nice to roast it. Little Hay looked at the Baifang and said. The Baifang glared at Little Hay and shouted, Do you want to die? In the next moment, a flame dragon shot out from its sharp beak. This was the flame of primordial chaos. In the blink of an eye, it fell towards Little Hay. The power of the flame of primordial chaos was extraordinary. Once touched by it, it could not be extinguished. It would burn one to death. Yang Wu also felt the threat of the flame of primordial chaos, but Little Hay opened its mouth and swallowed the flame of primordial chaos. It's still too weak. It's not even enough to burp. Come, spit out more flame of primordial chaos. Otherwise, have a taste of my true samadhi flames. Little Hay glared angrily at the Baifang and shouted. You think you're amazing just because you can swallow my flames? When I get serious, even I will be afraid, the Baifang said sternly. The flame of primordial chaos erupted from its body. The 5-colored flames were indeed terrifying. The thick evil aura it gave off made people not dare to approach it. Then let's see if I'm afraid, Little Hay replied nonchalantly. It even approached the Baifang step by step. The Baifang felt the unique aura released from Little Hay's body. It let out a strange cry and turned to run. Yang Wu was stunned. Wasn't this Baifang very arrogant just now? Why did it run away in the blink of an eye? You really can't be scared, Little Hay said nonchalantly. It began to wander around the area, looking for a flaw in the imprisonment. Yang Wu did not follow it. His gaze landed on a divine flower that was wrapped in the flame of primordial chaos. It was a primordial chaos divine lotus. Every petal of the lotus was emitting a colorful light. It was extremely tempting. This was the item that the Baifang was guarding. It was a true god-level divine item. I didn't expect the transcendent realm to be able to nurture such a high-level item. I really can't underestimate any place, Yang Wu said with emotion. In the next moment, he released Blue Yao Ji and had it absorb the flame of primordial chaos. Of course, he would not let the primordial chaos divine lotus go either. The Baifang had been scared away. Even if it dared to come back, Yang Wu would not be afraid. Yang Wu could not help but want to refine the primordial chaos divine lotus. After hesitating for a moment, he did not do so. He had improved too quickly over the past few years. It was not good for him to break through again. After a few years of training, or when he broke through to the true God realm, this primordial chaos divine lotus would be able to help him completely break through. Yang Wu found a few more precious divine medicines nearby, and there were even more holy medicines. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. As expected of the most ancient mountain range, there are so many heavenly materials and earthly treasures. I wonder if the place called Shenangjia will be even more astonishing. Half a day later, Little Hay came back and said, I found it. It really is an immortal's ruin. Can I go in and take a look? Yang Wu asked. I don't think so. He took off a layer of immortal skin and put it there to prevent people from barging into his lair. How stingy, Little Hay said reluctantly. At the same time, there was a trace of fear in her eyes. It was clear that this immortal's ruin had a great background. Yang Wu did not force her. He did not leave immediately. He planned to find some natural treasures before leaving. In this primitive forest, there were indeed terrifying creatures. Not only was there a Bai Fong, but there was also a Jiao. Every type of demon could not be seen outside. They did not like humans. When they saw Yang Wu, they attacked. Moreover, their battle prowess was extremely powerful. All of them had reached the peak of the demon god realm. They were not much weaker than Dao Lao Air. He also found many divine items here. He even found a few rare divine stones, such as the 7-star jade and the yin-yang fetus stone. Every one of them was priceless. Even in the god realm, they could be sold for a very high price. After Yang Wu searched for a while, he sensed that there might still be creatures of the true demon god realm in this place. He did not investigate any further. Instead, he brought little He with him to Shenangjia. According to legend, Shenangjia was the place where the alchemist Shenong had tasted hundreds of herbs. However, Yang Wu was certain that this Shenangjia was not the place where his master, Shenong, had stayed. It was most likely that the later generations had named this place Shenangjia in order to revere Shenong. Shenangjia was completely a forest. It was practically airtight, and there were even more plants here than in the Kunlun Mountains. When Yang Wu and little He entered, many plant-type creatures attacked them. These plant-type creatures were extremely strange. They were either poisonous, could create illusions, or could form fog and fire. The danger level of this place was no less than that of the Kunlun Mountains. Even if an overlord were to barge in, they would most likely die here. Wherever Yang Wu and little He walked, they saw huge skeletons. These were all overlord-level creatures that were killed by the plant-type creatures. The world is full of wonders, Yang Wu exclaimed. Your knowledge is still too small. There was once an old tree that burst the heaven court, and there was once a grass that turned into a fairy. Don't underestimate them. Little He replied. How would I dare to underestimate them? I only feel that I am still very small and insignificant. I need to become stronger. That's the right way to think. Look carefully, there should be some good things here. The man and dog wandered in Shenangjia for half a month. They also found a batch of high-level divine items and even an innate divine weapon. After leaving Shenangjia, they entered the depths of the Eastern Sea and finally found a immortal chi spring. The immortal chi spring here was formed by a strand of immortal chi that fell into it. There were huge sea demons guarding nearby, treating it as a gift from the gods. Only the imperial family could get close. When Yang Wu appeared here, the immortal immortality peach tree and immortal roots power devoured the immortal chi spring without hesitation, causing the sea demons to chase after them. Yang Wu and little He went to a few more places. After spending half a year, they found a small amount of immortal chi, which made little He very dissatisfied. Yang Wu, on the other hand, was very satisfied. The immortal root's power had grown a lot, and the immortal immortality peach tree had grown again. Unfortunately, he was still far from seeing it bear flowers. They returned to the Yang clan. Those who were going to leave with him were already prepared. Gong Xilan, Su Romei, and the others who didn't leave looked at Yang Wu's group reluctantly. After leaving, they didn't know when they would see them again. Great-grandmother, mother, you don't have to worry too much. Perhaps it won't be long before we return. Yang Wu was also very reluctant, but it was time to leave. He couldn't delay any longer. Ziyu was still waiting for him in the Divine Firmament battlefield. The Martial Marquis Association was the transfer point of the Divine Firmament world, so he couldn't let anything go wrong. This time, he brought Yang Zixing, Yang Ba, Su Chu, and the others because he wanted them to grow quickly and become his right-hand men, fighting the Divine Firmament with him. What about your father? Su Romei was more worried about Yang Jinan. After he disappeared with Xietian, she didn't know where he went. Even if her son had great abilities, he couldn't find them. It would be strange if she wasn't worried. This problem also became a knot in Yang Wu's heart. He had finally found Yang Wen, but now his father and son had disappeared together. He vaguely felt that there was a terrifying mastermind behind all of this. He couldn't find this mastermind, and even little Hay couldn't do anything. This was the most troublesome part. Mother, don't worry. Father will be blessed by the heavens. Chapter 1732. At the Divine Firmament Battlefield. Little Hay had used a special method to isolate this area. It was not worth mentioning in the eyes of the immortal level living beings. After all, it had not recovered its strength yet. Fortunately, the true marshal had returned. He would definitely find trouble with the immortal level living being who had controlled the Divine Firmament battlefield. The two living beings had always been enemies and had an irreconcilable grudge. However, after the immortal level power was cut off, there was still power from the Divine Firmament world. They had been receiving new blood from the Divine Firmament battlefield. However, in the past decade they had lost contact with the Divine Firmament battlefield. They had already sent people to the Divine Firmament battlefield to find the source. The Void Palace team rode the Void Shuttle and searched for the location of the Divine Firmament battlefield in the void. This team was led by a true god. Otherwise, they would not have dared to travel through the void so easily. It was easy to get lost. This team had 3 types of true gods. Although they were only at the beginner level, they could sweep through everything in a place like the Divine Firmament battlefield. These 3 living beings were a disciple of the Void Emperor called Tai Jun. There were 2 guardians, Lu Yuqiang and Mo Rongshu. Tai Jun was not a human, but a living being of a different race. He had a very high-level bloodline and could fuse with the Tao of the Void to unleash extremely powerful combat strength. This was also the reason why he could become the Void Emperor's disciple. Lu Huaqiang was a human. He was very old and had entered the true god realm with a little fortuitous opportunity. It would be difficult for him to advance further in his life. Mo Rongshu was a demonic bug living spirit, and he was close to the Void Worm. He was the leader of the team this time. With his sensitive senses, they could avoid all the dangers and find the exact location of the Divine Firmament battlefield. After many years of traveling, they finally found the Divine Firmament battlefield. It's really hidden deep. It's really hard to find. Mo Rongshu sighed. He turned into an ugly man and emitted a foul smell. Other living beings did not dare to go near him. This place must have been tampered with. Who is so bold to destroy the foundation of our Void Palace? Tai Jun frowned. His face was stiff and full of hostility. There was also a pair of silver wings flashing. The Great Emperor said that we only need to observe what's going on before setting up the void. The Great Emperor will personally come and find out what's going on, Lu Yuqiang said in a hoarse voice. Of course I won't forget Master's words. Let's go and take a look first. I have a feeling that this trip will not be in vain, Tai Jun replied and continued to send the Void Shuttle toward the Divine Firmament battlefield. The Divine Firmament battlefield was not small. If they wanted to reach the human ancient city, they would have to search for it. When they found the humans who had left, they would extract their souls and interrogate them. Then, they would head towards the ancient city. They already knew that the ancient city of the human race was controlled by a force called the Marquis Gang. They wanted to see what kind of ability this force had to seize the private territory of the Void Palace. When they entered the ancient city of the human race, the people of the Martial Marquis Gang immediately realized that this was not an ordinary group. Just as the city guard leader was about to speak, he was crushed to death by the other party. Mo Su Rong's voice rang out, "Where is the leader of the Martial Marquis Gang? Come out and accept your death." This voice was loud and mighty, spreading to every corner of the ancient city. They did not directly step into the city because they could feel that the ancient city's array formation was extraordinary. It must have been set up by a master. If they entered rashly, even true gods would not be able to withstand it. It was never wrong to be a little more careful. Ziyu, who was cultivating, was still alarmed. She put on her divine armor and quickly rushed out of the main hall, heading straight for the city gate. Who is so daring to come here? Ziyu thought to herself. Many other god-level experts followed closely behind. They were Tian Jian, Ji Chenglong, Lin Baihu, Xian Yichen, Zhu Honghong, and a few other capable hall masters. In a few blinks of an eye, they had already reached the top of the city wall. Looking down at the group outside, each of them revealed a hint of fear. The other party's aura was torrential. Every one of them was an immortal. There were even experts whose strength they could not see clearly. Ziyu also recognized the characteristics of these people. They were from the Void Palace. They were in big trouble now. What do you want? Ziyu looked down at the people below and asked. As the wife of the gang leader, she had no reason to be afraid. And a beautiful woman, Tai Jun muttered to himself. Then he floated up in the air and said, "This place belongs to my Void Palace. You've taken over our territory and you're asking us what we want? Obediently remove the array formation and welcome us into the city. Kneel down and submit and you can live. Otherwise, you'll all die." Lu Yuqiang said, "You've all cultivated the void body tempering technique, right? Where did your void envoys go? That's a secret technique bestowed by my temple. You're all disciples of my void palace. Come out and submit and you can obtain the complete secret technique." Everyone in the ancient city heard these two people's voices. Their faces revealed incomparable surprise. Before, they were all cultivating the void body tempering technique. Now, the people in front of them were the forces of this secret technique. Their hearts were filled with mixed feelings. They had all submitted to the Martial Marquis gang before running out to tell them that they were the true Void Palace forces. Was it too late? This place already belongs to my Martial Marquis gang. It has nothing to do with your Void Palace. You can leave. Ziyu replied. You really think that a mere city array can stop us? Mo Su Kong shouted. He spat out a power from his mouth, directly attacking Ziyu. This attack came too quickly. Ziyu couldn't react in time. Luckily, the city array had already been activated and blocked this powerful attack. Otherwise, she would have followed in the footsteps of the general just now. True god-level life form. Ziyu's heart was a bit flustered. Even if her battle strength was already very strong, it wasn't that she didn't have the confidence to face a true god-level life form. The difference was too great. Don't think that just because this place isn't bound, you can look down on my Void Palace. In the God realm, my Void Palace is the strongest force. If you're willing to submit, there's still a way out. If you follow this woman all the way to darkness, you'll all be annihilated. Tai Jun said again. Then, he took a step forward and slapped the city with a palm that blotted out the sky and earth. This formless palm seemed to envelop the entire ancient city and shatter it. Bang! The ancient city's ground shook. It scared everyone in the city so much that they fell down. That terrifying pressure made it hard for them to breathe. Now everyone understood what level the life form was at. A 9-Sun Realm True God. Lin Baihu cried out involuntarily. Madam Gang Leader, we should surrender. Ji Chenglong said nervously. Coward. Sky Sword Nameless said without extravagance. If you have the ability, go fight with them. Ji Chenglong said angrily. Zhu Honghong bit her red lips and didn't say anything. Her legs were shaking. A 9-Sun Realm True God was extremely powerful. Although they were all at the Jade Moon Realm, the gap between them was still very big. Ziyu said loudly, activate the killing formation and kill the enemy. She had no choice. Her husband wasn't here, and he didn't allow her to take half a step back. Even if her husband was here, he definitely wouldn't back down. Every position of the formation was controlled by Zhong Xian's subordinate. She thought the formation would be activated, but who knew that the formation would be switched out? In an instant, her face became extremely pale. Sirs, please enter the city. A god-level elite shouted loudly. Another voice said, I'm willing to join the Void Palace. You traitors. Ziyu raised the purple lightning godly sword and shouted. She swept towards them. The purple lightning godly sword swept past and chopped off their heads on the spot. Zhu's combat power was extremely strong. They didn't even have the chance to react before they were killed. Tai Jun, Lu Yuqiang, Mo Rongxiu, and the others didn't help. They loved this kind of drama. Their group entered the city forcefully. A large number of people knelt on the ground, willing to submit. They didn't know how strong the Void Palace was. Based on Tai Jun's attack just now, it was enough to make them unable to resist. They knew how strong the Void Palace was. Moreover, they had all cultivated the Void Tempering technique. If they wanted to obtain the complete version, the only way was to return. These people didn't have a strong sense of belonging to the Wuhou Association. Tai Jun and his group were even more pleased. Zhu only had Nameless Celestial Sword and Xian Yichen left. Ji Chenglong, Lin Baihu, and Zhu Honghong had all betrayed them. There was no way to fight this battle. They couldn't escape even if they wanted to. The other party had already locked onto them. If they dared to move, they would definitely be attacked again. Look, they're all so tactful. Only you guys can't recognize the truth, right? Tai Jun looked at the people kneeling on the ground and said to Zhu with great satisfaction, "This city is yours. Let's go." Zhu didn't intend to fight them head-on. She had lost the formation, and these people were all unreliable. She didn't want to make a futile resistance. You want to leave? It's not that easy. Take them down. Tai Jun wouldn't just watch her leave. Let's go, Zhu shouted. She took a few of her trusted subordinates and prepared to leave. Stay here. Someone shouted. A void palm slapped down from the sky and landed on them. This was a top-tier god-level expert attacking. The lightning energy around Zhu's body formed a barrier, forcefully blocking this palm strike. Moreover, it was still breaking through at an even faster speed. Bolts of chaotic lightning exploded out, filled with terrifying destructive power as they swept towards the people in front of her. Her power was very strong, comparable to a peak god-level expert. Other than a true god, it would be difficult to stop her. Stay! Mo Rong shouted, and another wave of void power shot out, directly slapping down Zhu and the others. Puff, puff. They couldn't withstand the power of a true god. They spat out blood and fell down. I don't care who you are. If you don't surrender, then die. Mo Rong Su wiped away his viciousness and said. He swept up Zhu and her group, intending to kill them directly. Who do you think you are? How dare you hurt my wife? You're the ones courting death. Before Mo Rong Su could attack again, another voice exploded. Chapter 1733. Yang Wu had returned. He had not come alone. He had brought along Yang Zixing, Yang Ba, Su Chu, and the others. They were only in the Jade Moon realm. They were far from a real god. Why was he so arrogant? Before Mo Rongxiu's attack could land on Zhu, there was a power that destroyed Mo Rongxiu's power. There are people who have come to die, Mo Rongxiu said in surprise. The others looked in the direction of Yang Wu and the others. Everyone in the ancient city recognized Yang Wu. He was the leader of the Wuhou gang. Husband, quickly run. They have a true deity. Zhu shouted in alarm. Do you think you can escape? Mo Rongxiu sneered. Who are you? Yang Wu naturally would not run. Instead, he looked at Mo Rongxiu and the other hostages and asked, Who do you think you are? How dare you talk to us like that? Mo Rongxiu said. Then, he gestured to the living being beside him to teach Yang Wu and the others a lesson. The living being immediately attacked. He raised the scimitar in his hand and slashed at Yang Wu. The power that broke through layers of space went straight for Yang Wu. The overbearing scimitar light was easily caught by Yang Wu in his hand. He crushed it into pieces. I don't care who you are. In my territory, even if you are a dragon, you better be obedient. Otherwise, you will not have a good ending, Yang Wu said domineeringly. You took over the Void Hall's territory. How dare you say it's your territory? You are really something. Rongxiu, take him down. I want him to be my slave. I will slowly grind away his pride. That will be interesting, Tai Jun said with a smile. If we capture his woman too, he will be a slave and his woman will be a bed warmer. That will be great, Lu Yuqiang said with a wretched look. After he finished speaking, Yang Wu looked at him. It was like two sharp blades that pierced his heart. It was a murderous look. So what if the other party was a real god? Now, he was no longer afraid of the true gods. So you're from the empty space hall. You've controlled the divine firmament battlefield for so many years. If this matter is exposed in the divine world, I wonder what will happen, said Yang Wu coldly. You're also from the god realm? Tell me where you are from. When I return to the god realm, I'll kill all of your clans. Tai Jun raised his eyebrows and said, Really? Then I'll wait. I'm from the Medicine God Palace, Yang Wu said in a deep voice. At this moment, the people from the Void Hall were astonished. Clearly, they had not expected to meet people from the Medicine God Hall here. The 5 directional divine palaces all had extraordinary origins. They were all supported by first-level immortals. It was not an easy task to destroy each other. The people of the Medicine God Hall are involved in the matters of the Void Hall. They deserve to die. Take them all down. I want to know if they are from the Medicine God Hall, Tai Jun said to Emo Rongshu again. All right, they won't be able to escape. Emo Rongshu responded and attacked again. A majestic power enveloped the area, wanting to take down Yang Wu, Ziyu, and the others. Without waiting for his power to descend, an even more terrifying power suddenly swept up here, suppressing in his direction. Emo Rongshu was shocked. He raised his hand and slapped it, but he was still suppressed by the powerful power. Yu, come here. Yang Wu took the opportunity to shout loudly. Ziyu reacted quickly and retreated with her trusted subordinate. Who allowed you to escape? Emo Rongshu was furious. The array in the city has been activated again, said Tai Jun in a deep voice. Woof, woof, it's good that you know. Have a taste of the power of this Celestial's killing array. I've been waiting for this day. A barking sound rang out. Yang Wu and Little Hay had taken over the ancient city. How could they not be prepared? Little Hay's array was of such a high level. Once it was activated, it could even block an emperor god, let alone these true gods before them. A majestic power enveloped the ancient city, forming an unparalleled destructive power that attacked the people of the Void Hall. Tai Jun, Lu Yuqiang, and Emo Rongshu reacted quickly and retreated with their people. If I let you escape, where will this celestial put his face? Little Hay's voice rang out again. The condensed power turned into a giant claw and tore at them. The shocking giant claw seemed to be tearing the sky and earth apart. Tai Jun, Lu Yuqiang, and Emo Rongshu all panicked. Don't hold back, Tai Jun shouted. Tai Jun shouted. His wings flickered as he escaped through the void. Moreover, a divine robe enlarged, forming a heavenly screen to block that attack. Lu Yuqiang and Emo Rongshu also threw out defensive items, trying their best to give them a chance to escape. Bang! The giant claw tore through the void and landed on the divine robe. The divine robe was sent flying, but the power continued to press down, shattering other divine items and landing on them. Even though they had escaped far away, they were still affected. Their divine bodies were shattered, and most of the living beings in the Void Hall died on the spot. Even their divine souls were no longer there. Damn it, this is a true god-level array. Emo Rongshu's physical body cursed again. This is an emperor-level array. Tai Jun said with absolute certainty. We can't just let it go. We have to fight back. Lu Yuqiang's body was covered in blood, and he looked extremely pathetic. He hated the guy who controlled the array. Fight back, I'm waiting for you to fight back. Little Hay's voice rang out again, and another power claw came at them. The 3 living beings were completely stunned. They were already far away from the ancient city. Why was there still power that could suppress them? They did not dare to think too much, and they all used all their strength to block this power. Rumble, rumble! The combat power of the 3 true god-level experts was extremely strong, and they blocked this giant claw at the same time. This claw absorbed the boundless power, and under it, Lu Yuqiang and Mo Rongshu's divine bodies were crushed again. They were scared out of their wits, and they wanted to use their divine weapons to protect their divine souls to escape. Who knew that a thunder mountain filled with chaotic divine lightning was coming at them? No, I don't want to die. Hold on. Lu Yuqiang was so scared that he peed his pants. More than 10 divine weapons flew out, and there was even a true god-level weapon that wanted to block this terrifying chaotic lightning mountain. Mo Rongshu did not dare to be careless, and he used all his trump cards. There was a piece of void armor that could protect him, and he escaped into the void tunnel, disappearing without a trace. Lu Yuqiang's divine weapons were all sent flying by the chaotic divine lightning. Under the pressure of the Thunder Mountain, his true god-level soul was completely destroyed. A true god-level expert had fallen just like that. Tai Jun was the strongest. He tore open a decree, and Emperor-level power swept out, blocking the claw power. He also took the opportunity to spread his wings and escape into the void. His speed was unparalleled. However, this time, he could not escape this place, and he was completely sealed by the formation. What kind of guy is this? So scary. Tai Jun was so shocked that he broke out in cold sweat. This pressure was not inferior to that of a high-level true god-level living being. Little Wu, Yu, the 2 of you try to take down a seriously injured true god together, Little He said to Yang Wu and Ziyu. I can do it alone, Yang Wu replied. No, you can only unleash extraordinary combat power when the Thunder Hammer and Electric Fork are combined. Go and try, Little He said again. All right, let's try, Ziyu replied from the side. Yang Wu could not refuse. He nodded and activated the electric fork. Wisps of lightning power lingered around him, making him look like a thunder god descending. His aura was shocking. On the other side, Ziyu also wielded a thunder hammer. Chaotic lightning also lingered around her body. She looked very domineering. The 2 of them turned into lightning and charged at Tai Jun. This time, they were going to fight a true god-level expert head-on. Yang Wu had reached the 8th level of the Jade Moon Realm. Ziyu was not slow either. She had been speeding up her breakthroughs these past few years. She only had one Dao, and that was the Dao of Lightning. She had also reached the 8th level of the Jade Moon Realm, the same as Yang Wu. One had to know that before this, her cultivation level had been higher than Yang Wu's. In the past few years in the Divine Firmament battlefield, her breakthroughs had slowed down, mainly because managing the Marquis gang had taken up her time. Her cultivation talent was no weaker than Yang Wu's. When 2 level 8 Jade Moon martial gods joined forces, even if they could kill a deity, it would be easy. But if they wanted to deal with a true god, that was an enormous gap. There was a huge gap between the Jade Moon realm and the Nine Suns realm. Divine palaces, 1 divine palace, 1 Sunday. That was a true god with great combat power. Little He had used a formation to defeat them easily. It was not that they were weak, but that the formation set up by Little He was too advanced. That was why it could suppress them. Now, Tai Jun was trapped in this world, and could not escape for the time being. When Yang Wu and Ziyu attacked, Tai Jun did not hesitate to send out a palm strike. Void Palm. A majestic force pressed down on the 2 of them, sending Yang Wu and Ziyu flying. You can use a formation to bully me, but sending 2 little bastards to deal with me is looking down on me. Tai Jun shouted. His divine body kept expanding, and his wings flapped, opening a void. He did not want to deal with Yang Wu and Ziyu. Instead, he wanted to break the formation's confinement and use the opportunity to escape. As soon as the void opened, another force intersected, erasing his void. Defeat them and you might live. Little He was like a god of this world as it shouted at Tai Jun. In fact, it was also very weak. It thought to itself, I can't support too much power. I hope little Wu and Yu don't disappoint me. Yang Wu and Ziyu, who had been sent flying, charged over again. Tai Jun's attack just now had caught them off guard. However, he was still heavily injured and could not kill them directly. This time, they did not act rashly and attack together. The lightning hammer and the electric fork intersected, forming a lightning hammer and electric fork magnetic field. Boundless lightning broke through the air, and streaks of chaotic lightning filled with destructive power. Imperial lightning technique. After the two of them worked together, they indeed displayed a unique power. It was like the god of thunder and the goddess of lightning. No, it should be the god of thunder and the goddess of lightning. Yang Wu and Ziyu were attracted by the two immortal weapons. The power of their immortal roots also erupted. The huge lightning hammer smashed down, and the electric fork also crashed over from afar. Even the true god's expression changed. Chapter 1734. The lightning hammer and lightning fork were immortal weapons, and they were a pair of immortal weapons that could be combined. The explosive power was not as simple as 1 + 1. Yang Wu and Ziyu had never thought that they could display such terrifying power after activating the power of their immortal roots together. It was as if they could control all the lightning in the world. With a raise of their hands, they could unleash a power that could destroy everything. The Chaos Divine Lightning formed a sea of lightning that enveloped Tai Jun's head, wanting to shatter him into pieces. Tai Jun was indeed a level 3 Nine Suns Realm True God expert. He condensed the power of the martial path in his palms, forming a golden light that blocked the Chaos Divine Lightning. Little bastard, if a tiger doesn't show its might, do you think I'm a sick cat? Tai Jun roared, and a golden spear appeared in his hand. The power of the golden spear pierced towards Yang Wu and Ziyu, wanting to kill them directly. The golden spear rushed into the sea of chaos lightning like an awl. Even the power of the divine lightning could not stop it. This was the strength of a true god. Yang Wu was about to block it alone when Ziyu held the lightning hammer and shouted, "Husband, let me do it." The lightning hammer descended like a mountain of thunder and heavily collided with the golden spear. Bang! An earth-shattering power exploded, and countless sparks flew in all directions. Ziyu was pushed back by the power of the golden spear, and the lightning hammer in her hand almost fell out of her hand. Yang Wu quickly rushed over and waved his lightning fork, releasing chaos divine lightning towards the golden spear. He did not dare to hold back. This was a true god expert. The golden spear was blocked by Yang Wu for a moment, and Ziyu once again swung her hammer down. The lightning hammer was indeed an immortal weapon. When it landed on the golden spear, cracks appeared on the spear, and it was about to shatter. At this moment, Tai Jun wiped away his anger and rushed forward. He waved his fists and blasted them at Yang Wu and Ziyu respectively. The power was like stars crushing down, crushing the many chaotic divine thunders. Yang Wu and Purple Yu once again joined forces to absorb the chaos divine lightning, blocking Tai Jun's attack. Tai Jun's strength was too overbearing. Although their chaotic divine lightning was strong enough to threaten a level 1 true god, it was far from enough to threaten a level 3 true god. Under such circumstances, how could Yang Wu and Yu be a match for them? The two of them were blasted flying by Tai Jun, blood spurting out from their mouth. Just as Tai Jun was about to kill the two of them, another array formation's power descended, directly suppressing and slamming him down. Both of you activate the secret technique of the immortal weapon and become one with the immortal weapon. Only then can you unleash the strongest power. Little Hei's voice rang in Yang Wu and Ziyu's ears. Yu, come here. Yang Wu called out to Ziyu. Ziyu dragged her injured body and flew over. The two of them stuck together, and the two divine weapons collided. In an instant, thunder and lightning sparks burst out, and the talents they possessed were completely unleashed at this moment. The magnetic field of the lightning hammer and the electric fork kept expanding, and many lightning bolts from the distant space were constantly attracted. Their auras instantly rose steadily, and in an instant, they reached the top divine realm, and the power they unleashed increased by a lot. The chaotic divine lightning that gathered became stronger and stronger, and the power the two of them unleashed against Tai Jun became stronger. From afar, one could see a huge lightning hammer hammering down wave after wave, and another electric fork shooting out like lightning. Every wave of power contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. Boom! Boom! Tai Jun was extremely aggrieved by these attacks. He was a true god expert, and it was really unbearable for him to be beaten by two weaklings. As the power grew stronger, he felt that his life was in danger. If he could not break through this array formation, he would definitely die. He was the disciple of the Void Emperor. Even if he was just a disciple in name, his talent and combat strength were not so weak. 3 divine weapons appeared in his hands. One was a defensive golden shield that covered the top of his head, isolating the chaotic divine lightning. One was the Void Shuttle, which was the flying shuttle they took when they could break through the void. The last one was the god-destroying umbrella, which was a divine weapon that was both offensive and defensive. When these 3 divine weapons were released, it meant that he was really going to run for his life. Little He continued to control the power of the array formation, and Yang Wu and Yu Yu were also attacking Tai Jun with all their might. Tai Jun sneered and shouted, "You want to keep me here? It's not that easy. Just wait for the revenge of the Void Palace." In the next moment, he actually detonated the golden shield and the god-destroying umbrella. Those were 2 true god weapons. The terrifying destructive power caused the void to become a vacuum. Little He's array formation was also blown to pieces. Yang Wu and Yu Yu's power was also completely destroyed, and they were directly sent flying. Tai Jun also took the opportunity to enter the Void Shuttle and successfully escape. Ruthless enough, Little He said with a trace of unwillingness. It still could not keep the other party here. The range of the array formation was limited, and it was already very impressive that the array formation it set up could reach this stage. It was a pity that its power had not recovered. Otherwise, it would kill as many of these creatures as it came. Yang Wu and Yu Yu did not have the strength to chase after them. They could only watch as the other party escaped, and they were also seriously injured. The 2 of them adjusted their breathing and returned. Yang Wu said to Little He, "The opponent is too strong. We can't take him down even if we work together." "Woof woof, you are still too weak," Little He said disdainfully. "We have only cultivated for a short period of time. If we were given another 100 years, we would be able to kill him like chickens and dogs," Yu Yu said with incomparable confidence. "Alright, then I will give you 100 years. After 100 years, if you can't even deal with the opponent just now, then give up on this battlefield," Little He replied. "The Void Palace is the strongest force in the God realm. They have already discovered the situation here, and will definitely come back. They will not give us 100 years to set up a trap," Yang Wu said dejectedly. In these past few years, his strength had increased by quite a bit. He had always thought that he could fight against a true god, but now he realized that he was too naive. With this celestial sovereign here, how could it be so easy to discover this place? I just did not expect them to rush here so quickly. It is not a problem for me to set up a large spatial illusion array. However, this place is not suitable for cultivation. You 2 should return to the God realm. The others can stay here and train for a while before heading to the God realm," Little He said. "Let's bring them to the God realm together," Yang Wu said. He was still worried that if this place was discovered, it would implicate the people around him. Once they reached the God realm, at least the Medicine God Hall would protect them. As long as they did not leave the Medicine God Hall, he believed that no one would be able to do anything to them. After all, he was Shenlong's in-name disciple and had Pill Elder's protection. It was safer than staying here. "Little Wu Zi, you don't even trust me?" Little Hay said unhappily. It's not that I don't trust, Yang Wu replied. Before he could finish, Little Hay interrupted him and said, Leave this matter to me. You don't have to worry. There will only be benefits for them. You all just need to focus on increasing your strength. Alright, we'll do as you say. Yang Wu had no reason to refuse Little Hay. He trusted it almost blindly. Yang Wu and Ziyu returned to settle everyone down. Now, most of the people in the ancient city were terrified. They had betrayed the Martial Marquis gang and thought that they could rely on the people from the Void Hall to leave this place. Who knew that they would not be able to hold on for long before their dreams were shattered. After Yang Wu returned, he did not start a massacre. Instead, he let them leave this place. There was no place for them in the ancient city. Most of them knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. They did not want to stay here forever. They did not want to go out and be killed by other living beings. However, they had no choice. Yang Wu kicked these people out on the spot, especially the disloyal hall masters like Ji Chenglong and Lin Baihu. In other words, Yang Wu was already merciful to them. Otherwise, he would not mind controlling a few puppets for his own use. After this incident, only a group of people from the Martial Marquis gang remained in the ancient city. The ancient city was renamed Martial Marquis City. It was the second city with the same name besides the one built by the Martial Marquis gang in the transcendent world. This time, Yang Wu came to the Divine Firmament battlefield with a group of trusted subordinates. Among them were Yang Ba, Su Chu, Yang Zixing, the silver-patterned turtle, and some other capable people. They would stay in the Divine Firmament battlefield to train. As for Shu Yujun, Wan Lanxin, and his son and daughter, he still planned to bring them to the Divine World. However, Little Hay insisted that they stay here for 100 years. This place had a unique training environment. It would only be beneficial for them. In the future, when they reached the Divine World, they could quickly adapt to the environment and improve their strength. Yang Wu could only listen to Little Hay and did not insist. Currently, he had to deal with Ziyu, Shu Yujun, and Wan Lanxin. Sometimes it was not a good thing to have many wives. If one wanted to keep the harem safe, it would depend on one's ability. Fortunately, Ziyu and Wan Lanxin had known each other since they were young. With Wan Lanxin acting as the middleman, the three women could still coexist peacefully. The only thing that made Ziyu uncomfortable was that they had a pair of outstanding children, while she did not even give Yang Wu an egg. She felt very unbalanced. That night, the Shiher pressed Yang Wu under her body and attacked him again and again. The strong Yang Wu was almost completely squeezed dry. After it was over, Ziyu lay in Yang Wu's arms and asked, "Hubby, do you think I can get pregnant this time?" Yang Wu stroked her hair and said, "I don't know, but it should be possible." "It's not should, it's definitely possible," Ziyu said with certainty. "Why do you suddenly want to have children? Tianjiao and Wushuang are already so old. I don't want to lose to Lanxin and Yujun. I'm sorry for this. If you want to blame someone, just blame me." "Why would I blame you?" "The main reason is still me. If I could escape my fate earlier, we would have been together earlier and our children would have grown up earlier." Chapter 1735. Yang Wu and Ziyu returned to the Divine World. Little Hay did not go with them. It stayed in the Divine Firmament battlefield to protect the people Yang Wu had brought over. It also wanted to turn this space into an iron bucket to prevent other living beings from finding this place. If other living beings dared to make such a promise, no one would dare to believe it. However, Yang Wu believed in Little Hay. Little Hay definitely had the ability to do so. Before Yang Wu and Ziyu left, he had a deep conversation with Little Hay. Only then did he realize that Little Hay's cultivation level was related to him. However, he wanted to ask Little Hay about his relationship with him, but that fellow was unwilling to tell him. Yang Wu did not force it. Before he left, Little Hay gave Yang Wu some of the things it had obtained over the years. It hoped that Yang Wu could use these good things to speed up his cultivation. Time waited for no one. Yang Wu, on the other hand, told Xiao He to train his son and daughter well and not let anything happen to them. Just like that, Yang Wu and Ziyu returned to the divine world through the void array in the ancient city. Little He did not know where the void array led to. Only after Yang Wu and Ziyu arrived in the divine world did they know the exact location. When they arrived in the divine world again, they found themselves in a world filled with void energy. They wondered if they had not left the divine firmament battlefield. Hey, after so many years, someone finally came from the divine firmament battlefield again. A voice rang out. Yang Wu and Ziyu saw a huge monster in the distance. It was a void worm. It was at least a top-tier immortal. The aura it released was very frightening. Purple Yu's aura surged. She wanted to kill the void worm first. Yang Wu promptly transmitted his voice. Don't act rashly. There's something strange here. Don't be afraid. This is the entrance to my void hall. Since you were able to come here from your captivity, you should know what happened over there. Hurry up and tell me in detail. Otherwise, don't even think about joining my void hall. You might even become my food. The void bug-eyed guest said before they arrived. This insect's brain was still a little simple. It immediately told Yang Wu and Purple Yu about the situation here. This is the entrance to the Void Palace? Yang Wu asked with a frightened expression. That's right. What happened at the breeding grounds? Why did it cut off the connection with the temple? The Void Worm asked. Yang Wu thought quickly and immediately responded, We don't know either. Then how did you get here? It was the Void Emissary who led us here, and we provided enough contribution points. How dare you trick me? Do you want to die? The Void Worm wasn't stupid. It shouted, and a powerful aura surged toward Yang Wu and Purple Yu. Purple Yu said, It really was the Void Emissary who led us here. Not long ago, a master from the Void Hall came to the Divine Cloud battlefield. I don't know what they did, but we had a chance to leave the battlefield. It must be because of those masters. Masters from the Void Hall? What are their names? Asked the Void Worm. Purple Yu couldn't say their names, but she could condense their faces. Yang Wu praised in his heart, My wife is smart. The Void Worm looked at Tai Jun, Lu Yuqiang, Mo Su Rong, and the others' faces and finally believed them. Okay, now I'll lead you into the temple, said the Void Worm. It used a method to open a space door and let them in. Yang Wu and Purple Yu had no choice but to enter through the space door. After they entered, they arrived at Void City. Void City was the location of the legendary Void Hall. It was also the most mysterious place in the Divine Realm. Most of the living beings in the Divine Realm didn't know where it was. It was a huge city, and it was in the middle of a void barrier. There were layers of seal power isolating it. Only those who had cultivated the void tempering technique could survive in this place. Otherwise, they would become powerless trash. Fortunately, Yang Wu and Purple Yu had both cultivated the void tempering technique, so they didn't feel uncomfortable at all. We've arrived at the Void Hall. The two of them transmitted their voices to each other. A creature came to receive them and shouted, New humans, you're not bad looking. Come with me. This creature was riding on a void serpent. He held a trident in his hand and stood on the head of the serpent, looking down at Yang Wu and Purple Yu. The two of them didn't dare to sense the situation around them. They followed the creature obediently. They saw many creatures around them, and they were all very powerful. Almost all of them were in the deity realm. They didn't see many saint realm creatures. After a while, they were brought to a remote area of the city. Another person came to greet this foreign creature and said, Auburn, is this a person from the captivity area? That's right. The creature standing on the head of the serpent said. He then said, I don't know what happened, but the passage over there seems to have opened again. Lord Tai Jun and the others must have gone to deal with it. I'll leave these two to you. They seem to be quite strong. Maybe they can stand out from you. Okay, I'll train them well, said the person. The creature called Auburn didn't pay any more attention to Yang Wu and Purple Yu. He turned around and left. The person looked at Yang Wu and Purple Yu. His gaze fell on Purple Yu's body, and there was a hint of greed in his eyes. He asked faintly, "Do you know where this place is?" The two of them shook their heads. Even if they knew, they had to pretend not to. "Then let me tell you. You've come to the divine world's most powerful Void Temple. This is Void City, and there are countless creatures living here. They are all loyal to the Void Temple and the Void Emperor. If you want to have a foothold in the divine world, you must swear loyalty to the Void Temple and the Void Emperor. If you dare to think of escaping, what awaits you will be skinning and pulling out your tendons." The person warned sternly. He then said, "The area you're staying in is called the Lower World area. Everyone comes from the Lower World. Every 10 years, a batch of outstanding people will be selected to become deacons of the temple. Only after becoming a deacon of the temple will you have the right to leave the Lower World area. Only after becoming an inner deacon will you have the chance to go out and carry out missions and obtain your freedom. Those who don't have the ability will have to spend the rest of their lives here." "My lord, is there no back door for us to use? It wasn't easy for us to come here from the divine firmament battlefield. Can you make it easier for us?" Yang Wu approached the person and said telepathically. Then he took out a jade box. There were a few valuable divine pills inside. This person took Yang Wu's divine pill without any hesitation. At first, he still had a disdainful look on his face. However, when he saw the divine pill with a few pill veins, he calmly put it away and said with a smile, "Since you are so sensible, I will give you a clear path. The beauty beside you is not bad. If she is willing to offer herself to one of the masters in the palace, you can leave this place at any time. Moreover, you can also obtain cultivation resources that would make others jealous." This time, Yang Wu's expression did not look too good. He asked again, "Is there no other way?" "Yes. When you become the king of the lower worlds, you'll have a chance to jump out of this circle and gain the attention of the higher-up. You'll be able to do whatever you want if you become a disciple of one of the lords. But before that, you'd better stay here obediently. Don't cause trouble. Otherwise, you won't have a good time." With that, the person returned to his cold attitude. He changed his attitude faster than flipping a book. This person was called Zoine. He was the elder in charge of the lower world. He was in charge of receiving the living beings in this place. Despite his wretched appearance, he was actually a martial god-level expert. Otherwise, he would not have been assigned to guard a region. When Yang Wu and Ziyue were driven into the lower realm, there was a divine mirror above them. The mirror clearly knew the authenticity of their appearances and the age of their bones. It was impossible for them to disguise themselves here. "How is it possible? You're not even 100 years old. Both of you have reached the high-level immortal state," Zoine exclaimed. Then he shouted, "Tell me, who sent you here?" They had reached the high-level immortal state before they were 100 years old. He had never seen anyone like them among all the living beings in the lower worlds he had received. If they were 1,000 years old, he could accept it. It was also possible that they were divine sons and divine daughters from the divine world. But he did not believe that they were from the lower world. A trace of killing intent flashed past Ziyue's eyes. She really wanted to kill the person in front of her. Yang Wu held her hand and looked at Zoine. He said, "We came from the battlefield of divine clouds. We obtained some opportunities when we were young. That's why we have the strength we have now. We've been accepted as nominal disciples by Lord Taijun, who recommended us. When he returns, he will officially accept us as his disciples. He doesn't want us to announce it. But since you suspect us so much, I can only show you his token. I hope you won't regret it." Then, he took out a golden spear. It was Taijun's personal weapon. Zoine looked at it and his eyes widened. He quickly lowered his head and said, "So you're Lord Taijuan's disciple. I'm sorry." Yang Wu put away the combat weapon, and a smile appeared on his face as he said, "Now you believe us, right? If we didn't have any innate ability, that Lord wouldn't have brought us here." "I believe you. I'll arrange a good residence for you too. When Lord Taijun returns, he will make a decision." Zhou Yin replied and then handed the pill back to Yang Wu. Yang Wu didn't take it but said, "My lord, please accept it. In the future, if there's anything inappropriate about us husband and wife, please feel free to mention it, so as to avoid offending the palace's rules without knowing it." Well said. Zhou Yin's impression of Yang Wu improved a lot. She felt that he was a troublemaker. At the same time, she was glad that she did not have any ideas about Yang Wu's wife. The hierarchy of the Void Hall was very strict. It was not easy to offend.